broadcasting on frequency 162.50 megahertz. This program originates from the National Weather Service in Raleigh and is transmitted from an antenna located on Buck Mountain. The station serves the southern Piedmont of North Carolina. The current time is 5:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Here is the latest weather synopsis. A warm front in developing area of low pressure will retreat north across North Carolina and into Southside Virginia from late morning through early this evening. A trailing cold front will move east across the Carolinas tonight. The low pressure and a reinforcing cold front from the north will then wobble from central Virginia southeast across eastern North Carolina and offshore through Saturday. Here is the latest National Weather Service forecast for Albemarle and vicinity. Tornado Watch 187 in effect until 10 p.m. this evening. Tonight, partly cloudy with thunderstorms and showers likely this evening, then clear with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight. Lows in the upper 50s. Southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Chance of rain 70%. Saturday, mostly sunny with a slight chance of showers in the morning, then mostly cloudy with showers likely with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Not as warm with highs in the lower.
All right, everybody. Jared Smith here with the Carolina Weather Group, just getting started. We're going to begin our live coverage this evening for lots of severe weather ongoing in the Carolinas this evening. So again, Jared Smith here in Charleston. We're going to get some tweets out real quick just to get folks into the broadcast to so we can talk about what's been a somewhat active afternoon so far, with the potential for already having had a tornado in northern North Carolina. So we'll get to the tornado warning that's on the board just to start. So we still have a tornado warning for Timberlake, North Carolina, and what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the storm analyst here, kind of show you a little bit more of the high resolution look at it. This one had been producing a tornado earlier. This goes until 6 o'clock, and it is for South Central Person County. So again, this is taken in parts of Durham County, Orange County. That is no longer the case. This is the only tornado warning on the board, but you can see there is still a little bit of rotation showing up just south of Timberlake. And what's interesting here is at the Roxborough Airport, we see the wind out of the north on the back end of the circulation. So that is something that's kind of interesting here. You see that there, wind north-northwest at 10. So obviously the wind direction has changed. It remains to be seen what exactly has taken place here. Looking at the debris and the rotational signature, again, not nearly as impressive as it was earlier but it is over Timberlake right now. We'll tilt up a little bit, and you can clearly see that while that rotation is not necessarily right at the surface, we certainly still have that rotation just off the ground at this point. And let's see, you tilt up a little bit into the storm, and we can see that it still could produce a tornado at any time. So the tornado warning does continue here. And if that rotation holds up, I wouldn't be surprised to see this stretch into Granville County at some point either. So let me just put some notes in our chat real quick, and again, kind of running this. We'll have Scotty Powell and James Bryarton on along a little bit later, but once again, thank you for joining us. We've been running the Carolina Weather Net today to try to keep you up to date with the radar and the watches and the warnings and everything now. But now we are entering our live severe weather coverage for as long as we need to, honestly. So that is what we're going to be looking at. I'm going to take a wider view here because we got a lot of warnings. We got a lot of watches, and we got a lot of warnings right now that I want to talk about. So let's go back to the regional view, and very busy. In fact, what I'm going to do here is let me just get rid of everything else but the watches. We have, there's the watch fill right there. So yeah, so we have several severe weather watches in effect. Much of North Carolina, you find yourself in the red box. That's a tornado watch. Charlotte, Raleigh, under a tornado watch. 8 o'clock for folks in Charlotte and the foothills and the mountains, and then central and eastern North Carolina until 10 o'clock. And this includes Raleigh and Greensboro, and places east. The coastal areas in North Carolina are really the only places that are not under any weather watch right now. In South Carolina, Greenville, you're under that tornado watch until 8 o'clock or whenever the Weather Service decides to cancel it. And then further south into much of South Carolina, into the Midlands, the CSRA, and into the Low Country and parts of the PD, we have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. And that is where we have had quite a few warnings pop up here in the last little bit. So again, we'll switch to that. I'm going to take a couple of these displays off, but so we can kind of clean this up a little bit to get to the watches and warnings here. So what we're going to do is let's just go through kind of what we got here. And again, we're going to be keeping an eye on this tornado warning in northern portions of North Carolina here in Forsyth County for the next little bit, to see if that decides to wrap back up and potentially bring a circulation back to the ground near Timber Lake. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings. We've recently had a severe thunderstorm warning issued for portions of Dorchester and Berkeley counties in South Carolina, again, associated with the line of thunderstorms that could be producing some, decent winds here. Columbia had a considerable tag on this at one point for Orangeburg. Ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So roughly from St. George, crossing the I-26 and 95 interchange now, heading up just past Orangeburg. Orangeburg, you're behind this at this point. This is and again, this is all heading northeast at 70 miles an hour. So these are really hauling today as we get into Friday evening. Further south, we have another severe thunderstorm warning around Allendale and Hampton. This may have come from, well, let's see. Looking at the timing here, there's been some wind damage reported here in Allendale County recently, possibly from this cell, maybe from this cell. It was about 20 minutes ago or so. So watching that closely as it moves northeast, also very, very quickly here at 65 miles an hour. This is close to the radar site, the KCLX radar site. Walterboro, you're in some light rain right now, but nothing to write home about. Also worth noting, in portions of southern Charleston County, southern Colleton County, we have some showers and thunderstorms firing up, traversing the coast. And this could be an issue for the Charleston metro area a little bit later on. No warning on this right now. The severe weather is, as we kind of expected would be, at least to start, has been confined along and west of I-95, but still the Charleston metro area is included in that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. Moving into the Midlands and into the PD, we see additional clusters of severe thunderstorms, some of which with a little bit of a supercellular look, but generally speaking, 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter size or higher hail, possible in places like Bishopville, McBee, getting into Kershaw now, Lancaster, South Carolina, Columbia Metro. There's a storm potentially dropping 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail here. So certainly a major wind threat potentially moving into the Columbia Metro area right now. So we'll need to be watching that very, very closely. And then a third area of concern with a few supercells from Shelby to Gastonia to York and Chester County in South Carolina, North and South Carolina. This has designs on moving into the Charlotte Metro here in the next little bit. And we have some webcams that we're going to take a look at here pretty soon to try and see, what's happening here and try and see if we can see what we can see there. And in fact, I'll let's see. I'm going to find out if we have. So one major issue that we've been dealing with today is that we have not had, to this point, the terminal Doppler, but it looks like that is now back, and that's really good news because that's going to make this a little bit easier. Let's go to Charlotte real quick, and let's take a look at the terminal Doppler here, and you can see that these cells, you do have some rotation in these. We can tilt up a little bit, and we can certainly see that there is a rotation aloft. Maybe not necessarily at the surface. Again, these are all severe thunderstorm warned right now. These are not tornado warned. But again, if any of those circulations begin to make it closer to the ground, that's going to be a situation that we're going to have to watch somewhat carefully. And it's my understanding that we have now we've gotten in some additional folks from various Facebook pages in the Carolina Weather Group network here. So I'm Jared Smith out of Charleston, South Carolina. If you're joining us from the Charleston Weather Facebook page, welcome. Scotty Powell's Facebook page and just Appalachian Weather and a few others that we typically cross post to on Facebook. So welcome. We are. I'm kind of running as the Lone Ranger today, but I will try my best to get y'all's questions answered in chat. And so please feel free to chime in there if you have questions or concerns, and we will get to those as we can. So again, let's go back to the analyst here, and let's talk about really the tornado warning over Timberlake. Seems to be that low-level circulation seems to be diminishing some. The thing I'm concerned about now is the potential for them to reissue in northern Person County, northeast of Roxborough here. This circulation has definitely been tightening back up over the last little bit. We'll use our rotation product, our normalized rotation product here, and this is looking reasonably good. And this tornado warning for Timberlake is going to expire, which is good news here. But again, we're going to keep an eye on this to see if this continues to tighten. Could get a little bit. If that gets any tighter, we're starting to see some lightning around it too. So would not shock me if there was a warning decision made at the North Carolina border right now for the potential for maybe another tornado warning extending into Virginia. But again, we're going to wait for the Weather Service to make that call. And again, zooming out, we have some pretty strong storms near Greenville, north of Rocky Mount, Scotland Neck, Hopgood, but none of these do not have severe thunderstorm warnings on them. And these here do, but these are for wind damage. And these are actually starting to leave those polygons as well. So again, hail and high winds are the main threats here. One thing that's been interesting is to watch the progression of the sea breeze. You can see the sea breeze front stretching from Sampson to Wayne to Wilson to Edgecombe counties in North Carolina. And what happens behind the sea breeze is that you can get a surge of low-level moisture that can sometimes help to improve buoyancy there, but also can undercut storms and make them a little bit more elevated. So we'll have to see how that ultimately ends up panning out. But still, these are big lightning producers here. So regardless of whether you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, lightning's dangerous. Lightning is the number one biggest concern for really any thunderstorm. So that is what we are going to be watching closely. So again, let me go back to the regional view here and zoom this out a little bit. Getting some questions around Gaffney. Gaffney, you're in the clear for now. So again, Gaffney area, this is the main thunderstorm. The thunderstorm complex that just affected you is moving east into Charlotte. There are some additional showers and thunderstorms behind it. We will see what the Weather Service ends up doing. We may see some of the Georgia counties at some point get cleared. Less clear on what we're going to do about the South Carolina counties. So again, watching that very closely. And again, these are pretty significant storms here. These are producing 60-mile-an-hour winds and hail now to, let's see, golf ball size hail. So this is from northern Chester County to York County, Shelby, and Lincolnton. And this is headed towards the Charlotte metro area. And let me do a couple things here real quick to get this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a source here. I'm going to try and take a source here. See how this goes. That's probably not going to do it, but we'll do that as a screen share. That's what we'll do. We'll do that as a screen share. Yeah, so we're getting. So let's switch to a webcam view here and let me grab that. So again, taking a look now at This is Charlotte looking north and east, and you can see this is a live view out of Charlotte, and this is going to be looking towards Concord. So again, looking at the storms that have already passed, let's get another view here around the skyline. And again, this is the Bank of America WeatherStam camera looking at the skyline of uptown Charlotte, right from Bank of America here. So we're going to keep an eye on these webcams over the next little bit to see what we can see. This is certainly going to be something that we're going to want to keep a very close eye on as time goes on. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on those cameras throughout the afternoon and into tonight. So again, some pretty potentially destructive thunderstorms heading into Charlotte. Good news is right now, when I zoom back out, the only red boxes that we have are the tornado watches. We do not have any active tornado warnings right now. So that is good news. However, we have some potentially potent thunderstorms impacting major metropolitan areas. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping up on those. The risk for large hail and damaging winds continues generally north of Columbia, Chapin, Rich Tech, Blythewood, up in that neck of the woods here. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning, and this warning, let me see what the 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and half dollar size hail. Try to say that 3 times fast. Certainly the concern from those storms as they move now north of the Columbia metro area. There's no active severe weather warnings now in the Columbia metro area, which is always nice. We like to that's something we like to see. But again, we'll want to watch that very closely as time goes on. To keep an eye also on, not say that we also won't be keeping an eye on additional thunderstorms coming out of Georgia that we're certainly going to want to keep tabs on as well. We have severe thunderstorms around Lancaster, around Hartsville, getting close to Florence. The only spots that are not in a watch right now: Myrtle Beach, Marion, Dillon, Lumberton, Whiteville, Oak Island, Wilmington, Jacksonville, Morehead City, Ocracoke. You could be added to one later in some of these spots. So again, we're going to want folks to be watching that really, really closely over the next little bit. We're going to get we have a new tornado warning. We have a tornado warning now. Okay, so we have a new tornado warning. Let me get the radar set up here. Green. So GSP has issued a tornado warning for Gaston and Mecklenburg and New York until 6:45. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles southwest of Gastonia or near Clover, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a GSP first. We'll go back to the analyst here. We're going to focus on this tornado warning for the next little bit. And this is a nasty supercell. Again, not just the tornadic circulation that could potentially become a problem. And you can see that very that broad but defined couplet just north of Clover here. This is headed right at looks like this is headed right at the Gastonia Municipal Airport. So it'll be certainly interesting to see what kind of readings we get out of the Gastonia Airport there. Maybe some straight line winds there. Could be the rotation even further back. Actually, that was the forward flank. It looks like there was maybe a little bit of rotation there, but yeah, the rotation seems to be right around Clover. And again, I want to emphasize the potential for hail to quarter size or even higher as these thunderstorms continue to move northeast. This tornado warning does not include the immediate Charlotte metro area right now, but we're certainly going to want to watch this closely. We can get a better look at it. Wrong one. I keep hitting the wrong one. We can get a better look at it using the TDWR, which is looking a little bit lower into the storm. Certainly would have a better look at least at the circulation here. The radar is having the terminal Doppler is having a tough time seeing through the hail in this storm. So it looks weak back here. I promise you it isn't. But the terminal Doppler is just because of the way that it works. It's a C-band radar as opposed to an S-band radar. And so C-band radars tend to have their signals attenuated a little bit more, and that just basically means that it gets scattered more and it's harder for those waves to penetrate through heavy rain and hail, and that is certainly what we're seeing here. Do you have a broad rotation near South Gastonia showing up on here right now as well? And I just don't know that we're getting a really good look at it from here, but we're going to keep this. I'm going to keep this guy close because I do want to keep an eye on that. I think that will be useful here. Looking back at the GSP NexRad radar here, we'll zoom in a little bit more. So Clover right now, oh, wrong one. So again, here's what looks like your velocity couplet here. We'll tilt up a little bit, and it certainly seems like there could be potentially be two circulations, two mesocyclones here, one aloft near Gastonia and one near Clover. The southern one is going to be and has got a little bit cleaner flow. So this is the one that they've warned on. But again, this is headed towards the Gastonia airport. This is going to head towards Belmont. This is going to head towards Paw Creek and maybe Mount Holly. And again, Charlotte, I would keep a close eye on this. I would be, I certainly would want y'all to get a very close eye on this as time goes on. We may have some issues there as well. Is this slow? Let me, I'm having some performance issues at the moment. So what I'm going to do is close things out. Not sure why I'm having performance issues, but we just got started. But we'll get that all straight in seconds here. It looks like we're starting to get some of that frame rate back. So yeah, not sure what the deal is with that. Go radar only for a minute. Helps. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing a little here. Oh, it's the cameras. Okay, I'm gonna have to put that away then. I'm not gonna be able to use that right now. That should speed things up a little bit. All right, cool. All right, we got it back. We've got our performance back a little bit. It was an issue with the webcams there. I'll have to figure out another way to pull those in. But in the meantime, now that we're kind of back in action here, in the meantime, the just lots of warnings here that I'm looking at. Yeah, so again, this potential possible tornadic circulation, not tremendously well defined at the surface, thank goodness. We'll go up a couple scans though, and you can see that you have some of those inbounds and those outbounds kind of close together, right around really the South Carolina and North Carolina state line at this point. So that's where we're seeing that best chance for a possible tornado as we tilt up. The question is, can that rotation make it down to the surface? And they're betting it will. So that is what we're watching there. So we had a question about Concord. Is there going to be a tornado in Concord? And right now, we're going to want to watch these storms to your southwest very closely. Hard to say. Conditions are there; they're favorable. We certainly could see something around that. Could have some severe storms moving into your neck of the woods here in the next 60 to 90 minutes, possibly. So I would keep an eye on that. Whether there's going to be a tornado is a harder question to answer, but I will say that the atmosphere is favorable and certainly will be capable of producing a tornado at any time. So again, here's that hook echo right here. It's moving out of Clover now. This looks like it's going to track just north of Lake Wylie, but Lake Wylie, you're right on the edge of this polygon. But again, South Gastonia, Belmont, Mount Holly, I'd be in that safe place, that lower level interior room, bathroom, closet, away from windows, and I'd be hanging out there for a little bit as this storm continues to move northeast, sticking a little bit of a storm track on it. And again, if this holds up into the Charlotte metro area, getting very close to the Charlotte metro area now in the next 30 to 45 minutes, possibly, we're going to want to keep a very close eye on that. As this could get close to uptown. So that'll be certainly something worth watching here. And again, I'm looking for, just looking around for additional reports. Quarter-size hail reported in South Gaston County. And that seems to match up really nicely with where we're seeing a decent hail core set up here. I'll zoom back out a little bit, and again, let's broaden the scope of this a little bit. If I mentioned Concord, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning, and this includes Charlotte. This includes much of I-77 up towards Statesville, and stretches into South Carolina, south into Chester County. And this warning is going to go until 7 o'clock. So again, this line of storms, this line of supercells really is certainly going to be a concern for the Charlotte metro area in relatively short order. And I am certainly concerned that we could see it. That we could see something try to rotate as it gets into there. So again, Mecklenburg County up to Lincolnton, Statesville, all in the risk zone for potential for severe weather. Taking a look at I'm just looking at a couple different radar sources here. And again, not really seeing that defined low-level circulation that I would be expecting. We'll go to the local radar here, the terminal Doppler. There's your hail reports in southern Gaston County right here. Some pea-size hail reported. Mostly pea-size hail at this point, reported via MPing. And again, if there's a tornado in this, it'd probably be, you tilt up a little bit, and I should be able to see up a little bit higher into this. It's probably going to be right around here. But again, we're tilted up. We're looking about 4,400 feet up, and that is not what's at the ground. And we can look as close to the ground as 500 feet. So again, the warning is here because the conditions are imminently favorable for a tornado to develop. And one could come down at any time. It can come down between scans. So we want people to be safe on that as we go. And again, it looks weaker back here. I promise you it isn't. Again, the radar is just having such a tough time looking through all of this rain and hail. So we don't use the terminal. We try not to use the terminal Doppler really only for winds in this scenario, as that is what it is better suited for. Zoom back out a little bit. And again, this is just looking from the GSP radar. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing in the Carolinas. Here's a line of thunderstorms coming through the foothills right now. We have severe thunderstorm warnings out. Burnsville, Spruce Pine, Newland, Banner Elk, Poplar. This gets into the mountains. Johnson City, Bluff City, Sullivan County. This is getting into Tennessee. Mitchell County, Yancey County. There's a line of, it looks like we got a little bit of a line of thunderstorms beginning to come through here. We'll tilt it up a little bit so you can see there. And that's going to be closer to the front. That's going to be closer to that where at least some sort of trough or boundary is going to be living there. Let me look at, and again, we have one of the other factors here for the tornado threat in North Carolina today is the fact that there is a warm front draped across North Carolina right now, and that warm front is enhancing that low-level shear, and that is why we have such a concern for tornadoes here. And again, one thing we wanted to keep an eye on was, would this circulation begin to tighten? And it certainly looks like it's trying to tighten up a little bit closer to the ground. So again, go back to the see what we can see in the terminal. This might be just doing a couple things here. And again, we're going to be looking at it from a slightly different angle here with the terminal, but I want to bring this up. It does look like we're starting to see some subtle signs of maybe that rotation beginning to try to make it towards the ground. So the town of Cramerton right now, you should be in shelter. It does look like that the circulation is beginning to get rooted in the surface and is trying to make it to the ground. Because again, we're looking here at 300 feet up. So the fact that we're picking up any sort of circulation about 300 feet up, approaching Cramerton, Belmont, and McAdenville, getting close to Highway 29 and I-85 in these areas, certainly believe that if there's going to be a tornado, this very well could be the place. So we want people to be watching that closely. All right. So So again, Cramerton, Belmont, McDadenville. If there's going to be a tornado, it's going to be in this neck of the woods right here. As we watch this tighten up. And again, the cool thing is that we're getting updates from this radar every minute. So we are literally watching this as it forms. It's just kind of rocking back there. And you can see over the last couple frames, we're starting to see that rotation begin to tighten up here. GSP has updated the tornado warning. If you're in York County, the tornado warning is over. However, you are still on the hook for damaging winds and large hail from a few thunderstorms moving through there. So not totally done yet, but does look like we have a sign of some weak rotation now over Cramerton, approaching Highway 29 and I-85, moving northeast at 20 miles an hour. Was near South Gastonia. They have since reboxed the warning. So this is the area that we're going to be concerned about. So I'm going to stick to the terminal Doppler here, because what this is going to do, this is going to give us a good look. This is going to give us a good look at that in case we need to, in case we run into trouble. So what I'm going to try and do here real quick is just see if that was you're going to do a, whoops, that's not supposed to happen. Let's see. I'm taking another look now. And again, this is looking north and east. So we don't have, I'm taking another look at a webcam here, and I'm not really seeing much in the way of anything useful from this yet. So we're gonna, so again, I'm looking at that off screen right now, just trying to figure out what's what. And we'll get that sorted out. But again, you can see this every rotation looks like it might have weakened a little bit heading over Cramerton. But again, Highway 29, this is kind of the danger zone right now. Cramerton, Belmont. If there's going to be a tornado, it could be here. But again, switching between storm relative and base velocity, we're starting to, we're definitely seeing it when we look up about 3,800 feet into the storm. We are not seeing it when we look further down. Let's hope that remains the case. And again, we'll go back to the GSP radar here, and you can see the greens are where that's going towards the radar, and that's over in Greenville, Spartanburg, way down off frame to the southwest, and winds going away from the radar in the reds, and that is approaching now the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. So that's going to be a very interesting observation to watch here in the next little bit. So far, no reports of any damage or tornadoes. Again, we can use a correlation coefficient to try and figure that out. I think what we're seeing in correlation coefficient is a lot of noise right now, because hailstones are getting in the way. There's some beam depolarization looks like it's happening thanks to lightning in the area. So it's not the clearest picture that we're ever going to have, but it also does not right now look like there's any debris being lofted. And if there was debris being lofted, that would be going up pretty high actually, as time goes on. So again, tilting up there, you can kind of see that supercell setup here. Maybe not as impressive as it was a few scans ago, but certainly Belmont, you want to be in shelter now. And there's a lot of hail falling in this too, I bet, over Highway 29 at the moment. Pea-sized hail, heavy rain, strong winds at Highway 7 in Lowell, North Carolina, and Main Street. And so if you're in Lowell, that's a good report for you to keep an eye on there as well. And again, if there's a tornado, it looks like it would be getting very close to the let's say the Gaston-Mecklenburg line here. So want to keep a close eye on that. Again, Charlotte, immediate Charlotte metro area, inside the Beltway here, inside 277, you are not in this warning. You're not in this. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning for very strong gusty winds and the potential for large hail. Again, we'll zoom out. There's a lot to talk about. As you can see, we'll take that. Let me reconfigure our regional view here, so you can see it's just a smorgasbord of warnings ongoing in the Carolinas. The only tornado warning is just to the west of Charlotte, but hopefully trends continue where we don't see that rotation getting close to the ground here. So That will be good. So we do have some news on the tornado watch. We started to see some South Carolina counties be canceled out of it. So if you're in Graham, Macon, Swain counties in North Carolina, or Abbeville, Anderson, Greenwood, and Oconee counties in South Carolina, tornado watch is over for you. Your severe weather threat has come to an end for this evening. So always like to pass the good news along when we can do it. And that is certainly an example of good news that we are very happy, more than happy to pass along. All right. So again, looking at just looking at some different radar sources, we'll go back to our tornado warning here. And right now, there's probably some hail falling in Belmont. Let's look at probably some wet hail falling in Belmont. Charlotte is the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Certainly, that's going to be an interesting. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on here to watch this observation. Right now, they're in some rain. Winds to the south at 16, gusting to 24. This is as of this is an 18 minute old observation too. So we'll see what things ultimately turn out to be. But again, this tornado warning sits in a larger swath of severe thunderstorm warnings for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter size or even larger hail. I'd also be remiss if I did not point out some massive hail cores with some supercells in eastern North Carolina as well. We're going to go further to the east here around Chesterfield County in South Carolina, approaching Rockingham. Let's go to the regional view, kind of get a better look at this. And so town of Morven, North Carolina, Chesterfield, South Carolina, Jefferson, Pageland, South Carolina, some big hail cores, the purples and the blacks here. We're really starting to see the potential for some big hail. Severe thunderstorm warnings out for this entire area, as we have, we certainly have the potential for some big hail and some gusty winds for an unlucky few this afternoon. We get a storm report in from Harleyville in Dorchester County. So a tree was down on I-26 at the 172 mile marker headed eastbound. So we did have a tree down there there as well. And let's go down to Hartsville. Thank you, Len, for pointing out a tweet that Wilmington sent. Very large hail, very likely ongoing around Hartsville right now. This is a pretty nasty looking supercell. That hail core is pretty significant. We can look at the max expected hail size product here, and this gets us up to 1.5 inches. That is nothing to shake a stick at, my friends, and certainly something that we're going to want to keep an eye on for Hartsville very closely. Again, Coker College is there. The Governor's School for Science and Math is there. Big academic town, and so we have a lot of students there, so we want people to be on guard for the potential for hail damage there. Headed further south, we have severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing in St. Stephen, Moncks Corner, Cross, St. George, Bowman, up into Manning and Sumter for 60-mile-an-hour gusty winds. And again, looks like these are not tremendously scary at the moment, which is why we've not, if you're joining us from the Charleston Weather Facebook page and it's like, hey, where's Charleston? I would say that the good news is it's probably good that I'm not talking about you as much right now because, there's some gusty winds there for sure. And there could be some isolated sporadic wind damage in parts of those areas, but the reflectivity is just not looking terribly impressive. Looking further south into Charleston, we do have some rain moving into the area, but again, these storms are relatively weak, relatively light. We are on the back end of the sea breeze here. That does tend to sometimes taper things, and that certainly seems to be what's happening right now. But we will continue to keep an eye on it as time goes on. So again, big hailers right now, Hartsville heading into Rockingham, North Carolina. The main event that we're here to really keep an eye on is in Charlotte, where we still have, or very near Charlotte rather, where we still have a tornado warning in effect. As I'll reposition the radar to go there. And you can still see that little evidence of twist here. We're now looking about 4,000 feet up into the storm. Belmont, you're probably in pretty good shape at this point. Lake Wylie, you're in the clear. Gastonia, you're in the clear here. Mount Holly still wants you in your safe place for a few more minutes. Have not seen any updates to the tornado warning as of yet. But again, this isn't a terribly impressive looking circulation, but certainly damaging straight line wind gusts and large hail certainly seem to be considerations with this storm. So that's something that we're going to need folks to be keeping a close eye on. We also have another supercell in Leslie, South Carolina, just to the east of Rock Hill, north of Catawba, South Carolina, and this could be producing some hail as well. Dual poll strongly suggests that there's some hail falling in this. Hail sizes up to a 1/4 inch, maybe even a little bit bigger. And we have a CWA boundary right here, so that's why the polygon is drawn weird. Lancaster County is in the Columbia CWA, and they have it does not look like they have warned for this. They may end up doing that as time goes on, and if they do that, it'll probably be pretty soon. So, oh yeah, long day, folks. Long day of weather. In our neck of the woods, and it looks like there has been an update to the tornado warning. GSP is continuing the tornado warning now. It just includes Mecklenburg County. The thunderstorm 5 miles southeast of Gastonia, moving northeast at 20. So right in this neck of the woods here, looks like if there's a circulation, it's going to be the larger mesocyclone is over in I-85 at the moment. So certainly keeping an eye on that as well. And again, looking further into these, you can see the higher level rotations associated with the supercells around Hartsville and Wadesboro and Rockingham from the GSP radar. Again, this isn't the best look at these, but again, that kind of supports the hail threat that we're seeing in that neck of the woods. So certainly something to keep an eye on there. Go to the terminal Doppler real quick and just to kind of update on that. Get a look see at what we've got going on here. And again, we're not really seeing any signs of rotation per se, but there are some signs of some pretty strong winds moving through Paw Creek right now. 47, 48 mile an hour winds indicated on the radar about 100 feet up. And again, here's TCLT moving basically right over the airport here. So certainly something that is going to continue to bear watching. I guess if there's one bit of good news, it's that when I look at the storm relative velocity, I'm not really seeing much in the way of rotation, making it closer to the ground. And if there was something near the ground, this radar would certainly be seeing it. So we will be very happy to keep that out of the hood there for sure. All right, so let me playing with some additional radar weather data sources here on the other end on another machine real quick. This at a point where we've got so many storms that I need multiple machines to keep up with all of them. Can only show you so many from our graphics, but certainly a very busy day of weather ongoing here. And again, we're starting to get a little bit in no man's land here. You see that purple show up here. Let me go back to the analyst, and again, you start to see that purple show up here. That purple haze, that range folding, beginning to show up. But if there's a circulation, it's going to be kind of splitting the difference between Uptown, Charlotte, and Paw Creek. So again, headed up 85, about to head towards 77, and if anything, the whatever circulation this is looks like it's out of the polygon at this point, so it would not shock me to see. Well, we'll see what Greenville does. We'll see what the weather service at Greenville Spartanburg ultimately does. If they decide to extend the tornado warning into the Charlotte metro area, which I'm not sure that they're going to, but we'll see. We'll be waiting on that decision. But regardless of whether the tornado warning is there, you still have a massive severe thunderstorm warning. Statesville, Lincolnton, Gastonia, I would say that you're probably in the clear from this at this point. York, Rock Hill, this is getting to your east. I think you're going to be okay. And let's see. Looks like we have a new tornado warning for Forsyth County. This was issued at 6:27, so we're going to pan off of that here, and this is going to be, yeah, so this is right right around East Bend and Bethania here. Here's the circulation. This is this looks like this is going to head into Blacksburg territory in the next little bit, so we're going to keep an eye on that. The warning for Colleton and Dorchester has been canceled. Good news. Looks like we're continuing that severe thunderstorm warning in Berkeley. So 60-mile-an-hour winds, the main concern. Could see some small hail from that as well. But again, we have a new tornado warning now for Forsyth. 6:27 p.m. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Enon or near East Bend, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. So that's a storm we've got on the analyst here. Take velocity and reflectivity there. I might have a better look at this from the Blacksburg radar, so we're going to switch to that. And that reminds me, I probably should get in Blacksburg's chat too. I'm just going to be in all the chats today, my friends. And so let's see here. And all the chats. So I'm switching out the radar sources here a little bit so we can get a good look at what's what. And yeah, and so this is yeah, so we have a tornado warning for Yadkin County until 7 o'clock, and I believe that is that's on the same cell that we've been looking at here, right around Forsyth County. So there's a little donut hole. There's a little bounded weak ecoregion with this. There's your rotational signature. Pretty good looking rotational signature just north of Enon, North Carolina, and this is going to head towards Rural Hall, rather. This is kind of straddling the line between the Blacksburg Weather Forecast Office and the Raleigh Weather Forecast Office. So, so please we're going to be straddling that line a little bit. So there's two warnings for the one cell, and that's just what happens when you get to these boundaries. So again, keeping an eye on this right now. Looks like a bounded ecoregion. Not seeing any signs of debris being lofted, but again, we're looking about 4,600 feet into the storm. If debris was being lofted, that would probably be a fairly significant tornado if it was on the ground. So again, we're kind of overshooting the ground. We're overshooting the ground quite a bit. So again, if you have any reports, would love to hear those as we continue here. Going south towards the Charlotte metro area, starting to see some of that rain get it in there. And I'm going to go now to the Skycam. Let me share a tab and take this take the Skycam full here, and this is the yeah, and here is your, so this is overlooking the Panthers practice facility around Bank of America Stadium, and taking a look at that right now, and it looks like a little foot there. As this storm is just north of 277.77 right now, just north of uptown Charlotte. You can see a little bit of rain on the camera there. So that'll be certainly something that'll be worth. Maybe not reconfigure like that. There we go. Reconfigure this so you can see me as well as the screen here. And yeah, you can see those storms here. I'm not seeing anything too concerning on that webcam, which is good news. So it's what we like to see. Let me also grab the other webcam. This is looking over Bank of America Stadium, and I will switch tabs here. And then you can see one thing that you can note, and again, these cameras are courtesy of WeatherStem, our friends at WeatherStem. Thank you very much for your network. And you can see some big puffy clouds. You can see the wind is rocking that camera quite a bit now at Bank of America Stadium, but you can also see the sun's out. So we do have some sun peeking through there as well, as the storm is moving just north of uptown Charlotte at the moment. And the tornado warning on that storm has been allowed to expire. So that is good news. The tornado warning has been canceled. We are getting reports of pea-sized hail in West Charlotte right now. So we're gonna I'm gonna keep these webcams up here for the next little bit. I'm gonna switch back to the I'm going to switch back to the other camera, and you can already see, yeah, flip this back real quick before we go to our other tornado warning. You can already start to see the storm is pulling away. You can see some blue sky moving in there. So we'll keep that in the corner here. Keep an eye on that as we go. But let's go back to our storm here now near Tobaccoville, North Carolina. And again, we have a pretty strong indication of circulation here. Go to our NROT product here, and this is pretty tightly wound, very tightly wound. About what NROT 2 is pretty substantial. As we see some of the higher resolution map imagery begin to fill in here, that's pretty substantial rotation. Some of it could potentially be noise, but again, we've got 83 miles an hour against 14 miles an hour. That's about, getting close to about 100 miles an hour of shear here. So we have tornado vortex signature shear markers showing up here, and this is headed towards Tobaccoville. So if this is not producing anything, it certainly could begin to produce something at any time. So again, if you're in Tobaccoville, Rural Hall, I would be getting into shelter now. And I would not be shocked to see this warning extended. This wrapped up, to see another warning issued up towards Stokes County, King, maybe Germantown, Danbury. This is far off from me right now, but it's certainly something that you're going to want to keep a close eye on here. Get the storm motion updated here. We'll put a little track on it. Yeah, so this is King, Rural Hall, Walnut Cove. It looks like this could track just south of Danbury, but we'll keep an eye on that closely. Yeah, big donut hole here. Big, certainly a healthy mesocyclone. But again, we're looking about 4,300 feet up, so we're far from the ground at this juncture, and so we don't know what we don't know. Radar can only tell us so much here. We're out of range of the terminal Doppler here as well, and so that is going to also cause an issue as far as us being able to see closer to the ground. So again, if you're in these areas, lowest floor, interior room, hallway, closet, good place to be as we continue to watch the skies clear in uptown Charlotte, around the Panthers practice facility in the corner there. So let me do a couple things here. Let me zoom out a little bit, and let's talk about kind of the bigger picture. We've been at this here for a minute. We'll go back to that tornado warning in a second, because that storm certainly looks like it is really winding up and getting its act together. But we have a severe thunderstorm and tornado watches across much of North and South Carolina this afternoon. Severe thunderstorm watch, primarily South Carolina, into the PD and Midlands, starting to see it clear away a little bit as some more stable and drier air pushes in. Severe thunderstorm warnings in the Charleston metro area have expired. That's good news. We still have some rain in the Charleston metro area, but severe weather right now at a minimum. Still watching some storms coming out of Georgia that we're going to need to keep an eye on. We have the potential for some damaging wind gusts and some quarter-size hail moving into Williamsburg County and parts of Georgetown County in South Carolina. Zooming in on Hartsville, South Carolina, we just probably had some big hail come through here. Turn on the hail tracks, and you can see that the potential for maybe up to golf ball size hail may have come through Hartsville here. So we'll be interested in any damage reports. And again, 70 mile an hour wind gusts are also a consideration here as well for places like Rowland, North Carolina, Fairmont, North Carolina, Raymond, Clio, South Carolina, Bennettsville, McCall, right on the border of South and North Carolina. So again, those are your hail tracks, and we're going to want to keep a close eye on that. We have additional large hail potential around Wadesboro and Rockingham, where there's additional severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. The Yadkin County, you're in the clear from the tornado warning. Raleigh has just canceled that. Or rather, Blacksburg has just canceled that. It's now fully in Raleigh's court at this point. And what we're going to do is I will take you back to this storm in Forsyth County at this point. So again, I'm going to update the storm track here. Here's your rotational signature. If there's one bit of good news, is that we're still not seeing any debris being lifted. We have the big donut hole there, but it has a very strong circulation, but it certainly seems like it's not making it all the way to the ground just yet. But it could, and it could do that really at a moment's notice. So again, what we're going to ask folks to do is, if you're in this tornado warning, to take it seriously. Lowest floor of a site-built structure, interior room, hallway, bathroom, closet. put on a helmet, wear some shoes just to make sure in case there's debris out that you don't hurt your feet. It's these little things like this that make a big difference. So again, we're going to keep a close eye on that as that continues to spin up in far northwest in Forsyth County. This is going to cross Highway 52, very near Rural Hall. It looks like this is going to track just north of Bethania, Tobaccoville. You're right in the line of fire in this guy, and so it's going to get too close for comfort. I think is the way that I would put this here. Go to our normalized rotation product, and again, we're still very much in the red here at a 1.8. That is a significant signature. That is a significant rotation showing up. But again, we're looking about 4,300 feet up into the storm, so that's not telling us what's happening on the ground. So that's certainly going to be something that we're going to want to keep an eye on here. I'm looking through a few products just to make sure that we're not missing anything, but it does not look like we are missing anything. And we have a pretty good eye on that circulation as it continues to really impact Tobaccoville and Rural Hall right now. I'm going to do a couple things here real quick. So this is the only tornado warning on the board right now in South and North Carolina, and that is good. The only one that we're really concerned about right now, and again, this is still to see that big donut hole, that big bounded weak ecoregion there, as that continues to move towards Rural Hall. So if you're in Rural Hall right now, I am probably most concerned for you at the moment, and again, strongly urge take shelter. Get into a safe place, because it looks like this is going to be a problem here for the next little bit, getting into that neck of the woods. So I'm looking at a bunch of different radar sources here. I'm looking at a bunch of different chats, looking at all sorts of things here to try and keep all this straight. It's a busy day. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. We have a lot of thunderstorms producing damaging winds and hail. This is the only tornado warning on the board, and this is where we're going to kind of focus our time for now. But you can see that's right on course for Rural Hall. You can see the shear marker, the tornado vortex signature showing up there once again, and that's pretty tight. We are really lucky that we've not seen anything lofted here yet, but I think it's only a matter of time before we see a potential tornado touch down. This is very tightly wound. Let me put a marker here, and I'll try and get some wind shear estimates. About 100 knots, 88 knots of shear here at this point. VROT about 44 knots, and certainly the potential is there for a decent tornado to develop with very little notice. So again, the tornado warning is your notice for that. And again, with these NROT's values, 2.15, that's pretty substantial. And we'll look at the track of this storm as it's gone here. We can do a little summation. You can see there's your rotation track very clearly headed towards Rural Hall. As you can see how that moved north of Enon. This is very quickly headed towards Rural Hall and is definitely perking back up again. So again, we want folks to be taking this very seriously. Rural Hall, Walnut Cove, keep an eye on this. Pine Hall, keep an eye on this. This is potentially headed your direction if it does not weaken. Certainly something that we're going to want to watch for here as well. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning also for Ashland Watauga until 7:45. 70 mile an hour winds to the main threat with that. So we definitely want folks in those areas to be hunkering in. This is going to include Boone, Jefferson, down Jefferson here. Let me get back to the regional so we can show you exactly what I'm looking at here. So here's your new severe thunderstorm warning. There's certainly an indication of some very strong winds. You can see kind of a bow echo here. And so that could push through and cause some wind damage in that neck of the woods. So again, a very active radar right now. Pen down to South Carolina real quick. Again, most of the action at this point is in the northern Midlands, up into the PD. This is where we have Lancaster, north of Florence. The potential for hail certainly is with us, as well as damaging straight line gusts 60, 70 miles an hour. Charleston metro area, you are clear of all severe weather warnings at this point. The sea breeze is continuing to push inland, and that should help modulate the severe weather threat in that neck of the woods. So again, a lot to keep an eye on. We're going to go back to our severe weather analyst here and our high resolution radar, and we are continuing to watch this very tight circulation as it approaches Rural Hall. And again, a minor miracle at this point that we've not seen any debris being lofted from this. Correlation coefficient still looks pretty solidly correlated. You're seeing a little bit of a drop to the north, and that's really where we're probably seeing some hail fall, if I had to guess. Some hail beginning to mix into the equation here. So again, this is very tight circulation, about right over Rural Hall at this point, moving east at 35. And yeah, this is a, all right, no, that is a different tornado warning. I apologize. That one is in Virginia, the one that's moving east at 35. This one is approaching Rural Hall right now. It may just slide just to the south, but this is about to get right over Highway 52 in Forsyth County. Near Rural Hall. So if you're anywhere, Highway 52, if you're on that road right now, you probably see one, it's getting gnarly. And you're going to want to pull off the road and find a gas station to jump into and hang out a little bit while this gets through there, because this is certainly a very good looking circulation. Again, looking at the radar here, very clear bounded weak ecoregion. This is all right, we have a new tornado warning from Raleigh. This is a new tornado warning for Forsyth until 7:30 near. All right, so it looks like they're reissuing the warning on this, because this is going to go until this is interesting. All right. Is there a second severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado? Let's get a look. Yeah. Okay. Here's what they did. All right. I figured it out. Yeah, it's making a bit of a right turn. So Rural Hall. This is the new tornado warning now, including parts of 311 between Walnut Cove and Walkertown, Highway 311, US 311 here until 7:30. So we'll kind of zoom in on that a little bit. This includes the town of Stanleyville. So if you're in Stanleyville, you definitely want to be taking precautions now. It's a very tightly wound system, tightly wound couplet here. There's still some very significant normalized rotation showing up. Again, this kind of cuts through the noise a little bit and shows us where things are spinning, and that is anything over 2 is rather significant. We don't normally see over 2 in this neck of the woods, and to see that today is certainly concerning. Again, this is very close to where that warm front is, and so we're seeing a good uptick in the risk for low-level wind shear to intensify and potentially cause additional problems. Let's see. I am bouncing between many radar sources here at the moment, so some of these are behind the scenes as we continue to watch that. Let me I'm going to turn that screen share off real quick, because at this point we are not seeing much on that Charlotte cam. Charlotte, you're getting through it in Charlotte, so that's good. I'm going to switch to radar scope here real quick. I want to get let me get this up here, show you all real fast, and I'll take this full. And here is the Charleston metro area real quick. Just looking around Somerville, Hanahan, Charleston. Just some light rain moving through right now. Nothing too terribly disruptive. Some stronger thunderstorms once again in the CSRA between Jackson, Williston, Springfield, and Livingston and north. In South Carolina here. Columbia's got a statement on this. It could see some wind gusts to 50 miles an hour, some pea-size hail. Right now, these don't look severe, but we'll see how that goes. And again, then panning up further into the PD is where we have this larger cluster of thunderstorms happening right now. So again, we'll be keeping a close eye on that for South Carolina. But right now, the big concern is near Rural Hall, North Carolina, splitting the difference between Rural Hall and Stanleyville. This is still a very well-defined circulation, and incredibly does not seem to be producing a debris signature. That's, again, we are looking up into the storm at 4,000 feet into the storm. There could still be something there, but feeling, it's a somewhat of a minor miracle at this point that we're not seeing any issues there. Okay. All right, we have a ton of we have a ton of chats that have come in, including some things from an adult dating site. Go away. So we have a report of quarter-size hail in Stokes County, North Carolina. I would believe that, approaching Walnut Cove right now. Is this close to Greenville, North Carolina? You are in Greenville. You do have a new, just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Edgecombe and Wilson counties. This is just north of Greenville. This looks like this has some big hail in it and can produce some damaging winds to 60 miles an hour there. And so Matthews, North Carolina, you're in the thick of it right now, but not for much longer either. This is we're starting to see some of the worst of this. Get out of here. Let me switch back to the regional radar. This give you a little bit better view. Currently looking around Monroe and Matthews, you still have some strong storms to your north and your south. A few thunderstorms to your west, but again, the risk for severe weather will be ending. It looks like it will be coming to a close here fairly soon, at least for the moment. We are going to watch the storm west of Rock Hill closely, but your hail threat is to your south right now there. So, so we do have a report of quarter-size hail in Stokes County, and thank you to Matthew for that report there. All right, let's go back to our tornado warning storm in this, and now Stokes County, you're now under a tornado warning in Walnut Cove. Let's go back to the analyst here. We'll go back. So here's a new tornado warning for Stokes County. Walnut Cove, 311, Highway 311 to the Stokes and Rockingham line. This is going to go until 7:15. Tornadic circulation near Germantown, 9 miles north of Winston-Salem, northeast at 25. Tornado and quarter-size hail. So they are handling this hail with a tornado warning. Still radar indicated. We're not seeing, not really seeing anything that suggests that debris is being lofted. And I certainly hope it stays that way. But here's the circulation. Here's your couplet. It's headed right into Germantown right now. So if in Germantown, the call to action is urgent for you to get into that lowest floor, storm cellar basement, wherever you can get, as low as you can go, away from windows, away from the outside is where we want you right now. Same for Walnut Cove. You're right in the line of fire of this bad boy and of the worst of this. And put a storm track on it. You're going to be, in the next 15 minutes or so, this circulation is going to get very close to Walnut Cove. So again, that's a very tightly wound couplet just south of Germantown, moving into Germantown right now. So Germantown, Walnut Cove, Pine Hall in the next 30 minutes. We're going to want folks to be taking shelter and being prepared for the potential for some significant severe weather in that area. All right. Kind of resetting here a little bit. And again, Rural Hall right to the east of Rural Hall now. So it's almost over in Rural Hall, but you got you do have the risk for some strong downdraft winds coming in behind the circulation in Rural Hall. So you're going to want to watch that closely. Walnut Cove, Pine Hall, the next in line for this, as well as Germantown, where the circulation is basically right on top of you right now. So again, if you have any reports, if you're seeing anything, we prefer damage reports, especially if you're under a tornado warning. We want you in a safe place first. It's really the safest thing. That's the best thing that you can do to protect yourself and your family and your property, is to get into that safe place there. So we'll continue to watch that closely here as that tornado quickly moves about 25 miles an hour to the northeast. Again, I can't reiterate enough just how active of a scene that we've got right now. We've got severe thunderstorm and tornado watches ongoing over much of the Carolinas. We do have some severe thunderstorms beginning to ignite once again in eastern North Carolina, and in this area there is a bit of an enhanced tornado risk. Put on the day one outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and again, Columbia, Greenville, Charlotte, Raleigh, up to Virginia Beach, and clipping Richmond is in this enhanced risk of severe weather today. And as we go to the probabilities here, the best chance for tornado is going to be generally the let's see, just making sure I got my interstates right. Yeah, 85 and 40 in that corridor there. Near I-95 up to Virginia Beach and Richmond. So in this dark brown area, this is where we believe that the greatest risk for a tornado will be for the next little while. And again, damaging winds continue to be a threat across much of the Carolinas, especially near this warm front as we go. So again, a lot to watch there for sure. But let's get back to our tornado warning in Stokes County and in Forsyth County. We'll zoom in on this again. Very strong rotation now to the east of Rural Hall. No indication yet that this is lofting debris, but we could see some big hail moving into Walnut Cove very shortly. Germantown, circulation is essentially right on top of you right now. Right now in Germantown, this circulation is on top of you. So we're going to need folks to be, taking it very, very easy, very carefully there over the next little bit, as again the risk for damaging wind gusts, even outside of the tornado, are certainly possible, and some large hail. Put on the hail tracker here and see maybe up to about an inch or so north of Germantown. So again, here's your circulation. Right around Germantown, right at the Forsyth and Stokes line right now, and this is going to get very close to Walnut Cove. It's been on a little bit more of an easterly trajectory. It's maybe deviated a little bit eastward. So this is going to get very close to Walnut Cove. It's going to get very close to Pine Hall. In fact, let me see if I can't get a few more locations from another radar source. Please give me just a moment here. Belew's Creek. I think that's the only other populated area that I've immediately got here. But again, we want folks to be taking this extremely seriously in that neck of the woods. Trying not to lose my voice here. So please bear with me as I continue to navigate this. Certainly a very busy day, a very active day across the metro, across the Carolinas, as we continue to monitor for the risk for severe weather and tornadoes in particular. So again, the tornado warning right now, again, the main tornado warning that I'm concerned about here is northern Forsyth, southern Stokes County. And again, we put the reflectivity on, and you get that kind of that eye of the storm look, that rotational signature that looks almost, hurricaney at times. That bounded weak ecoregion there. Let's see. I'll pan up a little bit too. See if there's. It doesn't look like there's any other circulation trying to take over. This is still the main event, crossing the Forsyth and Stokes line. Going to get very close to Walnut Cove here in the next little bit. So again, Walnut Cove, Germantown, you should be in shelter. Germantown, you should be in shelter. Walnut Cove, Pine Hall, definitely want to be in shelter here for the next little bit. We'll let you know when it's clear. If you're in Rural Hall, I think at this point it's probably safe to come out. Probably doing okay there at this point. And it's just a very busy day on the weather desk. So we got, let's see. We have a new tornado warning. We have a new tornado warning now for Yadkinville. So let's pan over to that. So new it hasn't even shown up on this yet, but we've got it on GR Earth. For Surrey and Yadkin counties until 7:30, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Yadkinville, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. So here's your polygon right here. There's your rotation right north of Yadkinville, right where they said it would be, right over Highway 601. This is headed towards East Bend. Rockford, you're going to be very close to this as well. So if you're in that area, you're going to want to take cover now and get into a safe place on that lowest floor, interior room, hallway, closet. Definitely want folks to be getting there. Definitely this Walnut Cove rotation in particular, this is still looking extremely strong. It is, I can imagine that it may only be a matter of time before this begins to produce a tornado. It is very, very, very strong, showing us all the indications that it wants to produce a tornado. So let me Pilot Mountain, Mount Airy. Right now, you have some thunderstorms kind of nearby. Mount Airy, Pilot Mountain. This tornado warning cell looks like it's going to go just to your south, but I would not be surprised to see some sort of warning come your way at some point, depending on how broadly they want to draw it. But right now, no imminent threat there, but certainly something to watch in Pilot Mountain. But clearly, when we put on the rotation, tracks here, we put on the rotation tools. And actually, I'll do the tracks because that can be helpful. You can see how this very strong circulation approaching Walnut Cove now has had a pretty decent life cycle from Yadkin County up through Forsyth County and now into Stokes County. And that's the rain trail. We'll turn that off. And you see just a very, very tightly defined circulation. Still no sign that any debris is being lofted. There's a little bit of weak signal here, which is why we're seeing a CC drop here. So again, that's not correlated with anything there. So Blacksburg just updated the warning. Walnut Cove, tornado, back up. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over Walnut Cove, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Again, nothing confirmed on the ground here, but this could spin up very, very quickly. Same with this rotation, this admittedly weaker rotation north of Yadkinville. This is it's still got some decent velo on it, and certainly worth watching in East Bend. So again, if you're in one of these tornado warning polygons, we want you to respect that. We want you to get into your safe place and stay in your safe place until we can be reasonably sure that that the coast is clear for you. And again, this is a very nasty circulation moving to Walnut Cove. You've had hail there, and now you have what looks to be something that might be getting better organized here as it continues to tighten. very well here. And again, we've got a very well correlated tornado vortex signature on this as it moves right into Walnut Cove here. Again, looking for signs of debris being lofted, and I'm not seeing that yet, but with a signature like this, it may only be a matter of time. So again, it is super urgent that if you're, Highway 311, Walnut Cove into Pine Hall, that area, you're going to want to, you really need to be in a safe place. You need to not be on the road, that's for sure. As time goes on. So for the next little bit, and again, this is very nasty circulation around Walnut Cove right now. That is, this is as nasty as we've seen around here in a while. And again, it is a minor miracle that it's not producing damage. Hopefully, at least not to what we can see on the radar. Hopefully it stays that way. I would love to see it stay that way. But again, you have to think that the odds are that this is going to start to produce at some point if it can get that circulation to the ground. Forsyth County, no more tornado warning in your neck of the woods, at least right now. The supercell that we've been talking about here near Walnut Cove has moved out of Forsyth County. Has moved north of there. The tornado threat in Forsyth County, for the moment, has ended in northern Forsyth County. And again, we're watching a second circulation north of Yadkinville, kind of where we have the Yadkin County indicator here. And this is... and again, I'll tweak my storm motions here so we can get a storm track for that. And again, this is headed a little bit more to the northeast. This is headed towards East Bend, very near East Bend. Could potentially get into Pinnacle if it holds together. That could be that could certainly be an issue. And we'll do a storm track based off of this motion. This one, you'll notice, is moving a little bit more east than northeast. It's a little bit tighter, spinning like a top. And typically what we see with these is that they tend to turn right as they intensify. And so again, looking at this, no clear sign of debris, and we really hope it stays that way. But again, right over Walnut Cove right now, headed towards Pine Hall, Walnut Cove. Stay in your safe place for the next 15, 20 minutes. As we have a very dangerous situation unfolding for you with a very strong indication of rotation and a possible tornado. Yadkinville, this warning has been updated in Surrey and Yadkin counties until 7:30. We have basically the Weather Service is fixing the rotation over Nebo and is moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. So again, here's your rotational signature. I'll put the rotation product on. This helps to really kind of understand, where we're at. Again, about a 1 NROT on the scale here. Now, keep in mind that, when we look towards Walnut Cove, right, and we peak here, certainly a very different situation here with a very strong circulation right over Walnut Cove right now. This is still a 1.84 NROT, which is quite significant with this software. And this is headed right in the direction of Pine Hall right now. So, and again, if there's one thing that is honestly kind of blowing my mind, is that we don't have any debris, at least from this vantage point on the radar, about 3,500 feet up, being lofted. It's a very strong mesocyclone. And this could still do straight line wind damage too. I mean, it's not just, it is not just for, let's see. Yeah, it just needs to, if it can get towards the ground. So we have some watch cancellations to discuss real quick. And what I'm going to do here, I need to make an adjustment on my end. Yeah, but we have some watch cancellations, including the Charleston metro area. You're now out of the severe thunderstorm watch, which is good news. So all clear there for Charleston metro area for severe weather for tonight. So that is some excellent news for that neck of the woods. Again, as we continue to track this, the risk for severe storms now primarily into northern South Carolina and into North Carolina. And we should also see some additional cancellations probably coming soon further into South Carolina as well. So again, nasty hook echo over Walnut Cove right now. Here's your circulation headed towards Pine Hall. You have that really good, there's this inflow here. It looks like it's maybe interacting with a little bit of outflow, maybe even the sea breeze. It might be a little too far west for the sea breeze still, but certainly seems to be some sort of interaction that's helping to sustain that updraft. And yeah, so yeah. So that is good news there. But for South Carolina, so yeah, let me zoom out a little bit. Kind of show you where we still have watches and warnings here. Let me reconfigure that real quick, and we'll get back to the tornado warning as soon as I can, very shortly. But I want to kind of reset on where we have active watches. And again, much of North Carolina is under tornado watch. We'll see how long this lasts in Western North Carolina, but it goes until 8 o'clock in Western North Carolina, up towards Charlotte. And then in Eastern North Carolina, it goes until 10 o'clock. It's Raleigh, Greenville, in those areas. So again, this tornado watch continues until 10. Here we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. Still, Charleston has cleared their area, but Columbia looks like they're probably going to be able to clear there soon. But we have a new severe thunderstorm watch now that includes Myrtle Beach and Florence until 10 o'clock, and I'll zoom in on that real quick. Myrtle Beach, Dillon, Lumberton, Whiteville. Florence, you're in another watch until 10 o'clock as well. So there you go. So we have a new tornado warning now on the cell that I believe the Walnut Cove cell. They've extended the tornado warning now into Rockingham. And again, we have, and again, let's see. Yeah, we have, yeah, so there's your rotation. We should get this on the screen here again. Here's your signature. There's your tornado vortex signature over Walnut Cove right now. Waiting on the polygon to update, but I do believe that the warning has been extended here into Rockingham County. Yep, there's your new warning. So this includes this continues for Walnut Cove, Mayodan, Stoneville. Gets very close to Wentworth, but does not quite take in Wentworth. This is a good bit of Highway 220 in Rockingham County. So if you're on Highway 220 in Rockingham County, essentially between Price and the county line, you are now under a tornado warning. So again, we want folks to be taking this very seriously. This is a nasty storm, and it looks like it could be potentially. It looks like it's particularly producing some very nasty hail now as well. You're going to see the hail first, and then the possible tornado near Pine Hall along 311 here. Hail sizes generally about up to maybe $half size at this point. Let's see. And I'm looking at getting again, we're seeing lots of reports come in right now. And we have, and again, keeping in mind too, that we also have severe thunderstorms, kind of a line of severe thunderstorms stretching from about Blacksburg, Virginia, into Boone, into Watauga County and Ashe County, Lansing, Jefferson. No rotation on these, but yeah, but certainly some very strong winds, up to 70 miles an hour possible. And for those of you in Charleston waiting for baseball, the game is on. It will start at 7:40 p.m. So that is good news there. We always like to hear good news around that as well. But clearly, the main threat right now is in Stokes and moving into Rockingham County at the moment. We still maintain a tornado warning also around East Bend and Rockford. Again, not looking terribly organized at the moment, with any luck. And let's see. Also getting some reports around Cherryville. So I'll take a look at that on another screen here. But again, the rotation right now is between Walnut Cove and Pine Hall. You can still see that tornado vortex signature, that shear marker here showing up there. Put on the normalized rotation product, and again, that is very strong. That is some very strong rotation. Continuing there, we're going to go find, go take a look at some other sources of radar here real quick as I continue to see. We just got a lot of storms that we're dealing with at the moment that are going to need attention for sure. So please be patient. I think that's the best thing I can say is please be patient. We're definitely trying to do what we can to get as much there. So we've had a couple tornado watch cancellations now. Greenville Spartanburg has canceled the tornado watch for Haywood, Jackson, Transylvania counties in North Carolina, Greenville, Lawrence, Pickens, Spartanburg, and Union counties in South Carolina. So your tornado watch is over in those areas. But again, Pine Hall right now is under the gun for the potential for tornadic circulation. The tornado warning in Yadkin County has been canceled, so that is gone. And so that is the Yadkin and Surrey County tornado warning that has been canceled. Still some heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds. Pilot Mountain area, maybe some heavy rain, gusty winds. But again, we're not seeing any evidence of severe weather necessarily of too much there. We're still seeing some signs that these storms are producing a little bit of a higher base rotation, and so we're going to continue to watch those in case they try to get rooted into the surface. But again, the main event still remains around Pine Hall, and again, that is not a debris signature. That is weak. That is a weak signal. There is no debris signature on this. There's your hook echo. This is your inflow region here. This has maintained a very good-looking hook echo, but we have not seen any debris being lofted, which is great news. And so that is fantastic news here. We have a new tornado warning. Thank you to Mark for posting that in our chat room. We really should have a bot doing that. Let me. I have a feeling this one is going to be a little bit further away too. Let me get back to the. We have a new tornado warning in far northeast North Carolina. This is in that 10% region here. Let me switch to the regional radar here. We'll show you this new tornado warning. This includes Harrellsville. It's just north of Askew, Coleraine, Hosky, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. This is a radar indicated rotation here. We can turn on a rotation product from this as well, and it's kind of noisy there, but you can see there's that cell moving up, and if there's going to be any rotation here, it's going to be right in this neck of the woods right here, just north of Askewville. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Harrisville, Hosky, if you're on the eastern side of town, I would say get in your tornado safe place. Definitely Harrellsville, Powellsville, get into a safe place now. Again, that's a low-level room in a site belt structure, interior low-level room. There, certainly something that we're going to want to watch closely. I am continuing to take peeks around, just kind of all over the place here. There's just, as we mentioned, there's a lot happening at the moment. Here, we're going to switch to AKQ on this radar source. So I'm setting up another radar source so we can keep an eye on both of these storms, on the rotational signatures on both of these storms. So let me switch back to the local radar here. And here's Powellsville. Here's that circulation south of Powellsville right now. Just crossed Highway 13. There's your storm relative velocity. There's your hook echo. There's your notch looking about 4,000 feet up. no sign of any debris being lofted right now. We will keep an eye on that. The other storm of concern is basically right over Pine Hall at this point. And a lot of hail falling north of Highway 311, I suspect. Let's look at that's going to be probably some fairly large hail falling there. We'll look at the hail product, and again, that hail core is maybe a little bit displaced on this product here, but you could certainly see 1.5 inch size hail from this, especially to the north of Pine Hall. Here's the circulation. There's your hook echo. Again, no sign of any debris being lofted at this point. So that is good news. We've also had some questions about one that is west of Charlotte, and we'll go back to GR Earth here. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Lincolnton and Cherryville. So let me go back to the regional here, and you can see Lincolnton, Cherryville. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning out on this, and they have this continues for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, $half size hail. May have been rotating at times, but there currently does not seem to be any imminent severe weather tornado threat, that is, with this. But it has shown some signs as we load some of the rotation product here, some weak rotation as it moved just north of Cherryville and into Lincolnton. So certainly something that we're going to want to watch. And again, you're going to have rotating updrafts today that are stronger updrafts, but if they don't make it to the surface, then that's okay. But you certainly could see those stronger storms will be rotating as that helps, just helps make them more durable and longer lasting as far as thunderstorm updrafts go. So again, bouncing between storms here. Let's go back to Powellsville real quick. Take a look at that rotation. And again, right here, right to the south of Powellsville, just to the west of Colerain. That's pretty good looking circulation. Although that may be some side lobe contamination now that I kind of look at that a little more closely. But yeah, there's your notch, a little bit of a hook echo there right over Powellsville. We could have some hail falling to the north of this. And again, severe thunderstorm warning stretch from Gates County, Gates, Hertford County up into Virginia as well. So certainly something that we're going to want to watch there. And again, the big one that we're the strongest circulation on the board right now that we're most concerned with is the one near Pine Hall. This is as good of a hook echo as we've seen all day. But again, we are not seeing any signs of debris being lofted. But that being said, I don't think I see any signs of debris being lofted, because again, we're seeing that drop in correlation coefficient, but it's coinciding with a weak signal back to the radar. When we're looking for that debris signature, we would be looking for a high area of reflectivity, oranges, reds, maybe even some purples. We'd be looking for that co-located with that drop in correlation coefficient. And I'm not seeing that. But again, the fact that I'm not seeing that does not mean that a tornado can't form at any time. And so we want you all to be, very prepared for this and to be keeping a very close eye on the weather here for the next little bit. So again, Pine Hall in this area here, we're going to need y'all to be in shelter for the next few minutes. You could have some very strong winds coming down, even behind it, as part of the rear flank downdraft here. And this circulation is getting close to Highway 220, just south of Madison. So again, there's your hook echo. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for Pilot Mountain, Pinnacle, Danbury, up in Stokes County. And this is producing 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail. No indication. They did put the tornado possible tag on it. There is a little bit of rotation south of Pinnacle. Broad rotation right now. We'll see if this tightens up, and if it does tighten up, then that'll get upgraded to a tornado warning. So again, two pretty nasty storms ongoing in this area. And again, we have storms moving now to the east of Boone. That should probably, Boone, you should start to calm down here fairly soon. This is pushing now east of you. Sparta, North Wilkesboro, Taylorsville, Hickory, Morganton. Severe thunderstorms will be approaching your location soon, potentially with damaging winds and large hail. So again, a couple storms in central North Carolina that we're very concerned about right now, north central North Carolina and Rockingham County, as well as Stokes County. Broad rotation near Pinnacle and King. that is a severe thunderstorm warned. But the tornado warning continues on a rather impressive looking cell south of Mayodan. This may get closer to Wentworth, Eden, Ruffin, North Carolina, and Rockingham County. I'd be getting close. I'd be starting to think about what that tornado safety plan looks like, and where you're going to go, because it certainly seems that it certainly seems that there is. It definitely seems that there is still strong rotation with this storm, and we're not really seeing a lot of hail contamination here too, which is making it difficult. But we have some large hail falling. That's going to get very close to Madison and Mayodan. We're at Business 220 here. So again, we have some very large hail moving into the area right now. Stoneville, you may also see some very large hail in a matter of moments. And again, Wentworth, Eden, this is knocking on your door. So if you're in those areas, it's very probable that the circulation, has been holding tough pretty well. We'll go to the normalized rotation. I'll turn on the summation product, and you can see that this has been a pretty stout rotation here. We just got an imping report of quarter size hail just north of Pine Hall. So there you go. So this is put on, this has been rotating pretty well for the last little bit. Looks like it's broadening out, maybe trying to form a new circulation due east of Pine Hall. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. But again, we have low signal here, but where we have the higher signal, we're not really seeing any signs of debris being lofted. There's been some questions around that. If there's kind of trying to take a look here at what that might look like, but again, I think we're not really seeing that. But again, a tornado could form here anytime, so we want folks to be taking shelter. Pine Hall, Madison, Mayodan, Stoneville, and then Wentworth. Keep an eye on this closely for the next little bit. Let's go back. Let's bounce back to our other tornado warning, because we have two of them here. Towards Powellsville, and this is starting to register a tornado vortex signature there as the circulation gets very close to Powellsville here, Powellsville, Harrellsville, right there. It's iffy. It's not the best. Sometimes which we would like to see. I think I'm very happy with iffy. Let's see. All right. We now have a observed tornado, confirmed tornado. So, all right. Okay. So let's go back. So this is now an observed tornado. We have had, let me get the source on that real quick. This is all right. So there now, the Weather Service is confirming the tornado via radar. Damaging tornado, $half size hail, Mayodan, Madison, Stoneville, Intelligence, Ellisboro, Bethany, and Price. Tornado down. It's happening. They believe that there is a tornado ongoing right now. I will admit that at least from this vantage point, I'm having trouble seeing it. But again, we're not in a great place for radar coverage, and it may have been very transient as well. So again, I went to the wrong one. So let's get back. So this is now a radar confirmed tornado. This is moving across Highway 220. This is Mayodan, Stoneville, Intelligence, Madison. Some very large hail. If you're not in the tornado, you're going to get some very large hail right now around the southern terminus of Business 220 and Highway 311. And again, I would not be shocked to see this tornado warning extended even further northeast into Wentworth, Eden, and Ruffin. So if you're in those areas, I strongly encourage you to keep a very close eye on the radar, keep a very close eye on the weather, keep that weather radio close, and start maybe getting your tornado safety plan in place in that neck of the woods. Whew, oh boy. Yeah, so certainly a concerning situation here, and it has been concerning. We've been talking about this for quite some time. We've been concerned about this for quite a while, that this would eventually produce, and it appears, and the Weather Service believes that it has. So there you go. All right, so let's. So the concern is, yeah, in the Madison area, we do have a question from Catherine here. There is a concern that there's a tornado very near Madison that could be on the ground. Hail is a very immediate threat in Maiden and Madison right now. This is in Madison. We could see hail approaching 2 inches, possibly based off of the radar data here. So certainly a little concerned about that as time goes on. So let me go back to the regional view real quick. I'm going to pan this out. We have a new tornado warning. We have a new tornado warning. Okay, so we have another tornado warning now north of Roland, North Carolina. Roland, Raymond, Pembroke, Bowie, and Lumberton, and this is going to cross I-95. This is coming out of South Carolina and into North Carolina. Let's what's one more chat room between friends? All right. So we have a new tornado warning, and again, I'm trying to get as much on the screen as I can here. I've got 2 windows full of chat rooms at this point. It's kind of funny. So we're a little busy we're a little busy over here at the moment, but actually let me do this. I'll move that to do that. I'll change that workspace. Is that going to mess with me? Yeah. And I'm just getting some workspace stuff set up over here real quick so I can more sanely show you what's going on. We're going to close a couple of these out real quick. So again, just kind of getting things together. We're going to have James Brierton joining us here here shortly from Charlotte. And so we have so here's a new tornado warning, a little bit of a hook showing up in the kind of the lower resolution data here, but certainly something that we're going to keep an eye on for this neck of the woods here. We have a second tornado warning around Harrodsville now, North Carolina. Broad rotation here. There's your hook echo. Could have some hail moving into Harrodsville as well. There's your hook right there. Has some lightning starting to spark up there as well. So that's going to be certainly something that we're going to want to look at also. And then let's get back to the Madison and Maiden areas where we very likely have some very large hail falling right now in those areas. The tornadic circulation is going to be south of there. There has been evidence of a tornado on the ground here. So again, this is something that we're going to need folks to keep a very close eye on in this area. And let me do a couple things here. I'm just going to arrange these so I got a lot going on. We have a lot going on here, friends. It's a busy day for sure. So again, here's your circulation. This is really starting to get close to Wentworth, and I would not be shocked to see a new warning coming out here shortly. So again, let's go back to the regional view. We do have a couple questions coming around, and I also want to just kind of want to reset some things here. So let's see. Again, apologies. We're kind of running a little skeleton at the moment, so I'm just getting all of that squared away here. I'm keep an eye on that. So again, looking at the regional view, you can see that we have tornado warning in southeast North Carolina. We have the tornado warning north of Greensboro. We have a tornado warning in northeast North Carolina. And I would not be surprised to see this tornado warning get stretched out a little bit further to the northeast there. All right. So Yeah, and this is so this is around. So yeah, if you haven't I haven't introduced myself in a while. I'm Jared Smith, Carolina Weather Group. I am based out of Charleston, South Carolina. So I am getting very good at North Carolina geography over the years, to put it mildly. So we are definitely keeping a close eye on the tornado threat here. And we are certainly watching very closely at several tornado warnings. And as I suspected, the tornado warning has been extended further into Rockingham County. So we'll get back to that storm here in just a second here. Right now, for those of you, we had a question about Moore County. You're under severe thunderstorm warning there right now. No immediate sign of any rotation, but again, over the next little bit, showers, thunderstorms, gusty winds, and maybe some large hail, certainly a possibility. All right, so let's get back to the local radar in Rockingham County, North Carolina. So this is still a very tight circulation. Again, this is a tornado producing storm over Intelligence or near Madison, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So Wentworth, Reedsville, Eden, you're all in this warning, and you need to be taking shelter because this storm has had a history now of putting tornadoes on the ground. And I am very I'm still still very concerned that this could be kind of one of those cyclic things that it goes up and down and could very well produce again. So again, just because the radar might not be really very clear as to what's happening there, this has had a history of producing tornadoes and very large hail as well. So that is certainly something that we're going to want to keep an eye out on there. We have a question about Dillon County. The rotation has left Dillon County, so there's no rotation in Dillon County. And if anything, you may be sitting pretty here pretty soon in Dillon County. All right. Let's see. All right. And we've got James from Charlotte joining us here. James, I'm going to pull you in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can never get the Bluetooth to work, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, we are here in Charlotte. I haven't even cleared off my window yet. We're just near the airport here, and things are calming down a little bit more in the Charlotte area, Jerry. We got a really good cell right at 6 o'clock with that tornado warning that came into the Metrolina area. Still a few scattered storms across the broader Charlotte area. Just heard a rumble of thunder a few moments ago, but things are calmer, but we're not in the clear yet.
Yeah, it's and again, it's been kind of busy to put it mildly. It's we're not completely clear yet. You still have your watch ongoing. It's getting better for sure. You're going to see that area of thunderstorms lift north and out of your way here, hopefully in the next couple hours. There. So again, we're watching James drive here. I'm going to take myself a little bit more full, and put that into cinema mode here. Maybe thumbnails. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll have James in the corner here, and he'll pipe in as we need him to. And again, we're watching a very nasty circulation near Wentworth, North Carolina, now in Rockingham County. This has been rotating a while. This has been tornado warned for a good little bit, and is headed towards the towns of Wentworth and Reedsville. So again, this has had a history of producing tornadoes and based off of radar data. So certainly the call to action in that neck of the woods is for folks to be taking shelter as soon as you can. Yeah, I've got a good look at that there. Also trying to look at a couple, just reconfiguring my radar sources here. I have lots of radar sources that are behind the scenes that are super helpful. But again, we really want to concentrate on this circulation that's approaching Wentworth. Go to the NROT product, and this is still quite impressive at a 1.96. And it's also worth noting that we have another potentially, let's see, that might be some side lobe contamination. I'm not sure if that's real in Stokes County. We'll keep an eye on this. Obviously, there's severe thunderstorm warning out on it, and it does have a little bit of a hook here. It does have a little bit of that curvature there, so we'll have to keep an eye on that near Danbury to see if that becomes a tornadic issue. But certainly an issue for folks for hail and other situations there. So it's getting everything.
Jared, you mentioned hail, and we had a storm report out towards Brotherton, which is near the North Carolina, South Carolina line on the 85 corridor. Hail of about 1 3/4 inch.
Yeah,
one of the largest reports that we've seen in this side of the 77 corridor so far.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, that sounds about right. There's been quite a bit of those reports today. These are some big hailers, certainly moving through. I don't want to forget the other tornado warning we have on the board here, and this is north of Harrelsville. This is moving into Gates County, just south of Gatesville here. Take a look at the velocities. Don't look terribly concerning, which is good news. But again, want folks who are in this polygon to be taking shelter here. New severe thunderstorm warning for large hail for Chatham, Harnett, Johnson, Lee, Wake counties until 8:30, issued by Raleigh. So should see that pop up on the screen here shortly, and we can get a look at that. I also want to see, let's see, we have no more tornado warning in southern and southeast North Carolina. That is some good news there as well. So we have some good news for southeast North Carolina, in that the tornado warning that was out here earlier near Lumberton. You're still in a severe thunderstorm warning, but the immediate danger for tornadoes has ended there. Certainly, the storm that we are most concerned about right now is approaching Wentworth, North Carolina, and Rockingham County. We've been bouncing quite a bit through here, and that is that's a pretty tight-looking circulation if I ever saw it. Strong inbound, strong outbounds, and again, we're looking from the Blacksburg radar. So this is in Blacksburg, Virginia. We're about 45 nautical miles from the radar site, looking about 3,900 feet into the storm, and we have good rotation continuing to show up, approaching Wentworth right now. To the north of this rotation, there's likely some large hail, potentially to quarters or even higher than that. Well, all I've seen so far is quarter size, but we could see some additional reports at some point. So we want people to be on guard for that. We may have a hook trying to develop again. We've been looking at this in Stokes County near Danbury. The radar believes, and again, I think there might be there's some noise here, but there is some rotation showing aloft here, and so we're going to want to watch this in Danbury very closely here. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning for hail and high winds. There is a tornado possible tag on this, though. So again, Stewart, Danbury, Spencer, Francisco, Sandy Ridge, Critz, and Horse Pasture. Severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. This moving northeast of 35 is overhanging the Rock State Park. Again, 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail, the main concern here. But a tornado is possible at some point, so we're going to want to keep a close eye on that. Near Wentworth, again, we've been seeing this circulation pan up and down, and it is ramping right back up again, very near Wentworth. Put on the normalized rotation product, and once again, we are looking at a normalized rotation over 2. That is pretty strong. That is as strong as we see around here usually, and that is certainly something that we've been very concerned about. Meanwhile, James sees blue sky, so. I mean, so there's that. It's one of those days where you're going to have these breaks in the clouds. We do have some storms right over Matthews right now, and these are moving northeast, but these are sub-severe at the moment. So keep that trend going. We like sub-severe. And elsewhere, we're starting to see kind of a weakening trend further south into South Carolina. So let me do take the regional view here, and you can see the yellow outline is the, I'm going to turn the meso overlay off. The yellow outline is the severe thunderstorm watches. We have 2 of those, one until 8 o'clock that includes, one until 10 o'clock that includes Columbia and Florence, and another until 10 o'clock that includes Myrtle Beach and Lumberton and those areas there. So again, damaging winds, large hail, the main concerns. But as we have seen tonight, that there have been a couple tornadoes, and the greatest tornado risk continues generally in North Carolina. When we look at the Storm Prediction Center map, I'll kind of overlay this under the data here, and you can see that 10% tornado risk from Greensboro over to Virginia Beach, Farmville, Richmond, and Virginia. So again, northern North Carolina, this is going to include parts of the I-85 and I-95 corridors. So again, 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of a point. That's pretty good for around here. That's pretty significant. So again, we want folks taking precautions where needed. What's up?
I was just going to say, before I go here, I'm just going to be able to probably get you maybe a beauty shot of Charlotte here, where some of those big, tall clouds are still moving about. Actually, my view of the skyline is blocked by trees.
I caught a little of it. Yeah, I got a little bit of it.
Yeah, we can still kind of see here. Oh, there you go. Can you see that in front of us?
Yeah, I'm gonna. That might be your Matthew storm. Actually, that might be. Yeah, that's a good looking anvil there.
Yeah, that might actually be the severe thunderstorm that's over portions of Gaston and Lincoln.
Oh, yeah, Lincoln. Yeah, okay, yeah, north of Cherryville. Yep, I see that. And again, we have so many severe thunderstorm warnings, folks, that I can get to the tornado warnings, and we get to the severe thunderstorm warnings as we can. And I'm gonna just my ask to you is that you have multiple ways to get weather warnings, and that if you are put under a warning, that you do the right thing and get into a interior room away from windows and ride it out. So that's what we're looking at right now.
Thanks for holding down the fort, Jared.
Yeah, man, no problem. We will we'll get everybody back here soon and continue. Really, the only tornado warning on the board at the moment is in Rockingham County near Wentworth. And again, this is a very strong circulation. We'll go back to the storm analyst here. This is a really good looking circulation here, and now we have a debris signature. So this is down, folks. This is down south of Wentworth. This is a really clear debris signature. Now we have the high reflectivity co-located with the low correlation coefficient. So we have a debris signature. We have a tornado on the ground south of Wentworth now, very near splitting the difference between Wentworth and Reedsville. So again, urgently, if you're in this tornado warning in Rockingham County, this is now a confirmed tornado. We now have good, clear visual evidence that this is producing a tornado. As you can see, there's your hook echo and there's your debris ball right here, and lowering and correlation coefficient coinciding with the strong rotational couplet, and that is absolutely a debris signature south of Wentworth, near where I have the Rockingham County indicator here. This is going to get close to Highway 29. This looks like this is going to pass me parallel to Business 29. Yeah, and this is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado over Wentworth, moving east at 30. So that's from Blacksburg there. Eden, Reedsville, Wentworth, Stoneville, Oregon Hill, Harrison's Crossroads, Lawsonville. If I called any of those areas out, I want folks to be getting into shelter. The tornado is down. Tornado is down. It is doing damage. We can see that on the radar right now. So we want folks to be taking those precautions immediately. Lowest floor, interior room, hallway, closet, away from windows. This could do considerable damage. You notice that the polygon just updated to purple here. And that is for a considerable damage threat with this tornado. And it's still a very well-defined circulation. Basically over Wentworth right now, and just to the north of it, you're going to be running into some hail. So again, this is a dangerous situation just northeast of Reedsville right now, splitting the difference between Wentworth and Reedsville. And again, we're going to want folks to be in that safe place. Just need to be there 15 minutes. I think that'll get it done. But if you're in Wentworth particularly, but if you're in Reedsville, call to action now is to get into that safe place. We have a confirmed large and dangerous tornado doing a lot of damage, lofting debris. Let's see how high. Maybe we can get an idea of how high it's lofting, and it could be lofting this debris. I mean, it very well could be lofting this debris to at least 7,000, 8,000 feet, maybe even higher. I'll have to do a slice on it, but in the meantime, you can see that debris signature definitely showing up near Wentworth and Reedsville. So again, thanks to James Brierton for joining us from Charlotte. They're showing us what he's seeing. Certainly the risk for strong to severe storms continues in that neck of the woods for a little while longer. It will get better there over time. But right now, the main concern is that for this tornadic circulation, northwest of Reedsville here, with a pretty clear debris signature showing up now on radar. Weather Service calling this a large and dangerous, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. So again, take that for what it is, and it's time to take that action to protect yourself for in any of these areas. If you're driving along 29, Business 29 on the northwest side of Reedsville, you might want to take a break. You might want to get off that road. Again, concern here is that this could tighten up and take another eastward jog. We've seen that from this storm a little bit already. Do that tonight, and that's something that strengthening tornadic storms will do. There's your storm track here, and it's very possible it could deviate even further to the right. So we want folks to be very cautious about this. And really, take this extremely seriously. This is the only tornado warning on the board in North Carolina. There is one just north of the North Carolina-Virginia border, just south of Virginia Beach, but that's Virginia, and this is the Carolina Weather Group. So we're going to focus our energy on this Wentworth storm very much. We do have some questions also around parts of Moore County, and again, Moore County right now, looking in your neck of the woods, you do have some cluster thunderstorms coming through. There's still some potential for some damaging winds and large hail for the next little bit. But as this complex of storms moves north, that should reduce that risk over time. So again, we're going to keep a close eye on that. We're also watching a severe storm near Lincolnton. What I'm going to do actually is I'm messing with my radar sources again. We're going to go back to the terminal over Charlotte here, so we can get a good look at that. Let's see. I'll switch us to the local radar for Charlotte real quick. This is the terminal Doppler out of Charlotte once again. Lincolnton down to 68 there at Lincoln County in the wake of this thunderstorm. And we're not seeing really too much evidence of, see some evidence of some strong winds, and this certainly could produce some hail. But we're not seeing any evidence right now of debris down or any low-level rotation. So we'll keep an eye on it as it approaches Lake Norman. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning is in effect in this area until 8:15. And they do have the tornado possible tag on it, because again, anything in this area could rotate. So for Charlotte folks, we want you to know we're keeping an eye on that. But certainly the major issue is this extremely nasty supercell north of Reedsville, producing a tornado, producing potentially significant damage. Still a good-looking couplet, straddling between Wentworth and Reedsville here. generally just to the northwest of Business 29. We have some data drops showing up here, and that's certainly a sign that we could be seeing once again this rotation could be trying to strengthen back up, tilting up a little bit, just trying to see, trying to get an idea of maybe how high the debris is being lofted. And it's a little noisy there still. When contaminated by hail, that's going to make that difficult. But we can clearly see that we have this big ball here. We have this big ball. We have this lower area of correlation coefficient. Combine that with the rotational signature that we're seeing here on radar. That is a no-doubter, folks. That is a tornado on the ground. The Weather Service calling it a large and extremely dangerous tornado. So again, if you're in these areas, if you're in Reedsville, if you're in Wentworth, stay in shelter here for, especially in Wentworth, stay in shelter here for the next few minutes. You should be able to come out shortly. But again, it's going to parallel Business 29. If you're in Ruffin, if you're in Pelham, up Highway 29, as it approaches the North Carolina-Virginia border, my recommendation is to start getting some things ready in your tornado shelter. Where are you going to go? Lowest floor, interior room, hallway, closet, bathroom. Away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Gather bike helmets. Put some shoes on. Get ready, because this could easily continue down on the ground up into Ruffin and Pelham. No formal warning out for that area yet, but I'm trying to give you a little bit of heads up. I want to give you a little bit of heads up that this is something that certainly could be a problem. This has been down a long time, and what we'll do here real quick is I'm going to switch us to the normalized rotation product, which can call this out, and I'll show you just this is the rotation track, folks. This is the rotation track over the last 2 hours, and this rotation track is very, very clear. You can see where it's strengthened, where it goes to the yellows here. You can see where it's really popped up, and right now, if you're in Ruffin, you don't like this. And now we have a new tornado warning that will take in Ruffin. So we have a new tornado warning now. So yeah, we have a new tornado warning for Ruffin. That's not populated here on the screen yet. It will in a matter of minutes. It should in a few seconds, actually. Takes in Reedsville, takes in Ruffin. Waiting on that to populate over here. Come on, baby, you can do it. It just takes a second sometimes to get that on there. I can show you the regional radar. We can show you where the new polygon is, and that's a Reedsville, Ruffin. The Weather Service believes that it should stay north of Reedsville. But the TDS is moving towards Harrison Crossroads. The tornado debris signature is moving towards Harrison's Crossroads. So we want folks in that area. You need to be sheltered right now. Ping pong's ball size hail has also been reported with this storm, and that sounds about right. So again, Ruffin, you're now under a tornado warning here. Pelham, you are not. You were just outside of it. But this is a particularly dangerous situation from the National Weather Service in Blacksburg. So there you go. Reedsville, Wentworth, Mayfield, Quick, Oregon Hill, Harrison's Crossroads, and Ruffin. You should be in shelter right now. This is a very dangerous circulation, a very dangerous storm that has been capable of producing tornadoes for a long time, and it may be tightening up. Look at this tight rotation here. It's about 100 miles an hour of shear. A wind shear concentrated just north of Reedsville, just north of Business 29. That is a very tight rotation as it approaches Ruffin. So again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. Tornado warning for Ruffin right now, and getting into in Rockingham County, and this is going to move into Caswell County, the western fringes of Caswell County. This is going to essentially parallel 29 and 29 business. It could cross 29 if it takes another right turn too. So I mean, that's the thing that we got to watch too, is that this can take another right turn. If you are in now, if you're starting to get into like Wentworth proper, kind of zooming in a little bit, you can maybe able to pick out some of the neighborhoods here. This is starting to leave Wentworth. So again, your severe weather threat is for this storm is beginning to decrease. we still have severe storms with some rotation at times north of Danbury, and this is going to move into Martinsville. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings continuing, primarily at this point in North Carolina. If we look towards South Carolina, the good news is that the warnings there are no warnings on the board in South Carolina. And let's see. We had a request on Pilot Mountain. Let me tilt up a little bit, see what I can see. There's a few thunderstorms moving by. There's a few thunderstorms approaching, but and you're still, and you could see this line, but it looks like it is weakening a little bit. If there's one bit of good news, it's very possible that these storms that have come through earlier have stabilized the atmosphere a little bit. So that's some potential good news there. But yeah, north of Reidsville, getting into Ruffin. Yeah, this is definitely something that we're gonna watch. I'm just checking over the phone just in case something is out there that we need to consider. And yeah, so there you go. All right. Good times. I'm gonna do that. So again, if you're in South Carolina, you're doing okay. At the moment, we still have some watches out in South Carolina, but the good news is that there are currently no warnings in South Carolina. Of course, that could change in a matter of moments. So going to be watching that closely. But right now, most of the severe weather has moved into North Carolina. So again, take that regional view. And again, we're seeing that severe thunderstorm watch get trimmed back a little bit. And we'll get to that. We'll update you on the severe thunderstorm watch. If you're in the Columbia metro area, your severe weather threat has ended for the night. I can tell you that. Columbia metro area, Charleston metro area, your severe weather threat is over for tonight. So yeah, that. So yeah, so that is good news to see the watches get canceled here. Let me just I'm just updating a couple things over on the gram real quick. We're a little busy tonight, as you can imagine. And it's quite a busy night of significant severe weather in some spots. And we want folks to be safe. So let me just gonna get this out here, and and again, we're running a little bit of a skeleton crew tonight. And I appreciate your patience with me as I continue to update all sorts of folks on the current weather sitch. But yeah, let's get back to this tornado warning, this PDS tornado warning now. This is staying north of Reidsville, but it looks like if the circulation is now over business 29, the debris signature is weakened a little bit, which is good news. Seeing it seems a little bit noisy, and it seems like the rotation is also a little bit broader. However, if you're in Ruffin, you really need to be in that safe place right now. It is crucial that you are in shelter, that you are being very that you're being very attentive to the weather here right now, because this storm has had a history of producing tornadoes and producing damage, and we'll see what the surveys say after the fact. But again, right now, where the likelihood of a tornado is right over business 29, right over that business 29 shield here, just north of Reidsville, and this is going to head right up 29. It's going to get very close to Ruffin. Now in Ruffin, you're going to see you're going to see hail first. Very likely going to see hail first, up to the size of quarters, and then they get a brief break. But then you may get that that tornadic circulation is going to pass very near you. So again, watching this super closely, super closely, and yeah, I mean that's the situation that we have in Ruffin right now. definitely want folks to be, taking precautions. If there's one good thing, it does look like that the rotation is trying to broaden out a little bit, but all we've seen with that is that rotation then tightens right back up. And that becomes, and so again, this could cycle down and cycle back up. We've had a lot of that. We've had a lot of that action today, and I suspect that will continue for the next little while. So again, we continue to watch this very carefully for the town of Ruffin. Again, a particularly dangerous storm here, particularly dangerous situation. Hail core moving right into Ruffin, crossing Business 29, and eventually will cross Highway 29 proper here. It looks like it's going to run maybe parallel to 158. So again, town of Pelham, you're not. I'm a little less concerned for you at this point. We are seeing that little bit of an eastward deviance again, though. So Yanceyville, keep an eye on this as well. We may yet be dealing with this even further into Caswell County as this circulation continues to move east. Let me. I'm going to evaluate which radar I should use as well, because we're starting to get into a little bit more of a no man's land with the radar. That's contaminated. We may have. I wonder how real this is. We may have a second circulation trying to. We may have another circulation here. We may have a broadening out circulation near Ruffin. Maybe a second circulation trying to take over there. So again, this fuchsia polygon, fuchsia alert, folks. This is a situation that needs quite a bit of attention in this area. So again, Ruffin, right now you're going to be running into some hail, but yeah, it certainly seems like that the tightening of the circulation is once again happening right between Business 29, right between that fork between Business 29 and Highway 29 right now. So again, that's the concern. This is the only tornado warning on the board in the Carolinas. Whenever this tornado warning goes, and if we're clear for a little bit, we're going to go back to the Carolina WeatherNet. But in the meantime, we're going to stay with you here. I'm Jared Smith in Charleston. It is 8:05 p.m. We are in continuous tornado coverage for a severe weather outbreak that has been ongoing for a good bit of the day as a cold front moves east and north across the area. So again, right now, Ruffin, we have a broad circulation here around Highway 29. Town of Ruffin right now, you're under the gun for tornado and hail. So again, if you're in those areas, we want you to be taking your precautions as soon as possible. Get into that lower floor, interior room, hallway, closet, bathroom, and hang out and hunker down as we've had as this storm has had a history of doing damage, producing tornadoes, large and violent tornadoes. So again, we want folks in this area to be very, very careful and be taking those precautions. Zoom back out, go to the regional radar real quick. I wanted to go over some of the watches here. So Charlotte, you're out of it. Tornado watch has been canceled for Charlotte out towards the foothills of North Carolina and into the mountains. So no tornado watch anymore. Tornado watch is now going to be generally east of 77. The severe weather threat is over along and west of 77. So the severe weather threat there has ended. The main risk for severe weather now continues. We have severe thunderstorm watches until 10 o'clock for parts of Georgetown up through Florence, as well as Myrtle Beach, Lumberton, and Dillon, South Carolina. We have a tornado watch that continues for Greensboro, Raleigh, Greenville. This is the area where there is still a highest threat for additional tornadoes to develop. We have severe thunderstorms approaching Raleigh from the south right now with gusty winds and large hail. So again, Raleigh Metro, you're kind of the southern part of the Raleigh Metro is now in a severe thunderstorm warning at the moment. So again, we'll want to watch that closely. And again, here are the tornado probabilities. I wanted to point this out to everybody. And again, the greatest tornado probabilities are going to be found around Greensboro, just north of Raleigh, up towards the Virginia and North Carolina border here. 10% risk for tornadoes. And you can see the tornado warning supercell, the only one on the board in the Carolinas right now, just south of Danville, Virginia. So we're going to switch back to that one now. And let's go back to the analyst here and let's talk about Ruffin. And again, there's that classic circulation here, and we may have another circulation trying to get going here. This does not look like, this looks a little less like contamination, a little more legit, possibly trying to get started north of Stoneville and right near Highway 220. This is under a severe thunderstorm warning for gusty winds and large hail. Would not shock me to see if this tightens up. We have a little hook echo here. A brief tornado warning certainly could be in the cards. So again, but the major concern though is here in Ruffin right now, Ruffin, North Carolina, about ready to cross the circulation is getting ready to cross the Rockingham and Caswell County lines, and is going to head right into and right now is paralleling 158 and is just now south of 29. So we have the warning update here. If you're in Wentworth and if you're in Reedsville, we've been talking about you a lot. The good news is that your severe weather threat from this storm has ended and you can come out of your shelters. If you're in Reedsville, Wentworth, you are all clear. We still are still questionable. We're getting some noise here because there's a lot of hail in this storm too, and that messes with the dual pole a little bit. So it's harder for us to necessarily find where the debris might be. If there's going to be any debris, it does look like that debris signature has at least weakened, which is good news. Again, we have a broadly rotating thunderstorm here at this point south of Ruffin. But again, this is all right. So our Dan Whitaker, who is chasing, just sent a spotter report. He's a mile east northeast of Lawsonville in Rockingham County, and rapid rotation a mile west in a likely funnel. So that is so that just came through over the spotter network here, and I may be able to plot that here in a matter of moments. Here, let's see if I can get Dan's location. Yeah, so Dan is. Let me real quick here. Let's spy on Dan for a minute. Dan Whitaker is part of the Carolina Weather Group. He's our chaser, and also does some video production and things for us. And so this is his location right now, and he is looking. I mean, he's got good position on this storm here, and we have now had the tornado warning extended for Caswell County. So this tornado warning, you see the new polygon is up here. Pelham, Providence, Yanceyville. Again, you're now under a tornado warning in these areas. And again, this is running that parallel to Highway 158. Go back to the analyst radar. They've relaxed the wording a little bit, but don't let that fool you. This is still potentially an observed tornado. We have storm spotters on it. Storm spotters are seeing rotation in it with a funnel cloud, possibly. So again, it may have lifted for a time, but it may just as easily come back. And so again, if you're in any of these areas, Providence, Pelham, Yanceyville, we want you to be taking shelter right now. Get into that lowest floor, interior room, hallway, closet, bathroom. There's your circulation. It's a little bit broader than we've seen. Go to the normalized rotation product, and it's still fairly potent. Still at about a 1.28. Tilt up a little bit, and you can see, kind of get a feel for the vertical extent of it. It's a pretty well correlated circulation here. So again, we have this circulation south of Ruffin here, and let me see, this is from. So this data is now 3 minutes old. That's concerning, to put it mildly. Don't like that. I'm going to get another source of data on standby here, just in case I need to do that. Let me see, there it is. I don't think RAX is going to have a good look at it, but we'll give it a shot. I don't know if something happened to the radar data up out of Blacksburg. There it goes. So all right. So it is updating. That's good news. It was behind there for a minute, but yeah, there's your broad circulation moving out of Ruffin now, And again, if you're in Reedsville and Wentworth, you're good. You're good. This is over for you. This storm is over for you. Tornado watch continues. We do still have some thunderstorms to your southwest. However, the threat for severe weather should be fading with time. Again, tornado watch in this area through 10 o'clock. Now, we have a report of a partial roof collapse in a tree in a house in western Fayetteville, in Cumberland County. Oh my! From a thunderstorm, from a severe thunderstorm, not from a tornado, from a severe thunderstorm in Fayetteville. That's very concerning to say the least. And again, these storms, regardless of whether they're producing tornadoes or not, they are doing damage. And with either straight line winds or twisty winds, doesn't matter. They both get the job done. Unfortunately. So yeah, so here's a hook echo. There's again, very likely some large hail falling in Providence. I would be very concerned for you for the risk of hail. For those of you in Eden, we have a question out of Eden. Right now, you're kind of splitting the difference between these two storms. You're looking good. You do have some thunderstorms approaching from your west, and you do have some thunderstorms approaching from your southwest. These have had some warnings on them from time to time, potentially for some gusty winds and some hail. But overall, you are under a tornado watch, but right now, okay, you're okay. So I want to make sure that Cow Pineapple on YouTube out of Eden right now, just making sure that for the moment you're good, but stay alert. And again, there's still a concern that this is going to be cycling up. You can see that donut hole is back. We've been tracking this one for a long time. We've been tracking this one several counties back. We've been tracking this one a long time. Quite frankly, I'm almost tired of it, but it is what it is, and we're going to we're going to see it through to the end. You can see a hail spike, definite indication of large hail. You see a 3-body scatter spike here. So we definitely have some large hail likely falling now in Pelham, approaching Providence. Some very large hail, very likely here. And so we want folks to, hail damage to the north and then the tornadic threat to the south on the southern flank of the storm. So that's a very, very sharp 3-body scatter spike there. That's one of the tells for severe hail that we use to indicate severe hail. So that is certainly a situation there. And again, north of 158 around Yanceyville. This is exiting Ruffin. Ruffin, we should be able to give you an all clear in about 5 minutes. So just hang in there for a little bit longer. You still have probably going to be dealing with some strong winds on the backside of this storm. But we should hopefully be able to give you an all clear in Ruffin here shortly. Pelham, Providence, I would say that right now your biggest concern is going to be hail. I think the tornadic circulation, the broad circulation is going to stay south. We may see this cycle back up. And that could be an issue. Do have a question about Charleston real quick. And again, the threat for severe weather has ended in Charleston. You could still see some showers. We're seeing a few showers and maybe even a thunderstorm or two pop up from time to time. But the risk for rain is going to continue overnight into tomorrow, for at least parts of tomorrow. But again, we had a lot of people hoping for a good rainstorm in Charleston, and that has not, unfortunately, transpired, which is no good considering the drought situation that we find ourselves in the South Carolina Low Country. All right, so back to our tornado warned storm in North Carolina. This is now pretty much all the circulation is basically in Caswell County now. So if you're in Ruffin again, it's almost over for you. The tornado threat is moved into Caswell County. And that is going to, and it's over Bethel, moving east at 30. So again, if you're in Bethel right now, you should be in your safe place. Moving east at 30. Ruffin, it's almost done here. We still have the particularly dangerous situation polygon here. I suspect that they're going to let this go. This expires at 8:30 and it is 8:17. So we'll probably get a cancellation on that here fairly soon. And when that happens, we'll let you know, and that'll be your all clear. But yeah, big hail, very likely from Pelham to Providence right now, and point south. And that is impressive. That is an impressive signature, an impressive hail signature by any stretch, by any measure there right now in that neck of the woods. We'll look at let me see. I don't know why I went over here. Seeing if I can't get a couple more locations for you. Gatewood, certainly a possibility here. Let me jack up the density on that too. See if I can get any. Let me see if I get more cities on here. Yeah, Bethel. Right now, Bethel, I think you're in the line of fire for the tornadic circulation. Here, so again, if you're in Bethel, you need to be hunkered in, and you need to be in a safe place. Looks like we're starting to see the rotation tighten once more, as kind of anticipated around Bethel, between Bethel and Pelham. Pelham, you're in the hail. Bethel, you are in line for, at least in the short term, for the potential for a tornado. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. Not really seeing any signs of a debris signature just yet, but again, keeping in mind that some of this data is being attenuated somewhat by the significant hail that is falling from within the storm right now. So that's going to hurt our ability to look at this through the radar a little bit. So again, this is where spotter reports come in handy, and we have had spotter reports of a funnel with the storm as it continues to move to the east at 30. So again, Caswell County is kind of the main event. Rockingham County right now, you have a severe thunderstorm warning in the far northwest county, part of the county, just north of Eden, for damaging wind gusts and maybe some hail. In fact, in the storm that triggered that warning is leaving. So that is good news for Rockingham County. Ruffin, I think we're pretty close to being able to say that you can come out of your shelter. Again, waiting to see what Blacksburg does with that warning, but all indications are that the worst of the weather is now to your east. So we'll let Blacksburg make the call on the warning if they decide to cancel it early, but I would say Ruffin, at this point, you are probably in good shape. Radar algorithm now believes 2-inch hail is possible with this storm. And so let's look at the max hail size. And again, the radar algorithm is about 2.35 inches. That's the max. That's what it thinks is falling in this storm. So that is significant. That is, that is ping pong ball size hail, at least, not golf balls at this point, or maybe even a little bit larger. So certainly some very significant hail falling from this, and we can see that through. You see these streaks coming out behind this storm. I'll pan it so my head's not in the way, but you can see these streaks coming out of it. That's what we call a 3-body scatter spike. And basically what's happening is that the radar beam is being deflected by the hail, and it gets deflected down radial, and you can confirm that using correlation coefficient. That's deep blues here. Usually when we're showing this to you for debris. This is not debris. This is just false radar signatures, false echoes as a result of the large hail within the updrafts of these thunderstorms. Big hail core moving into Providence right now. We've also had significant severe weather, across, and I'd be remiss to not point out that we have significant severe weather from Alamance County, stretching through Pittsburgh, Sanford, Dunn, Clinton. Multiple reports of trees down in Fayetteville. Let's go to the Raleigh radar here, and we can show you exactly what I'm talking about here. This kind of cluster line of thunderstorms here that is moving northeast into the Raleigh metro area. Raleigh, Wilson, Goldsboro, Kinston. This is going to run right up I-95. So this has had a history of producing wind damage in the strongest storms. Looking at the velocities, not really seeing much in the way of rotating, but certainly straight line winds are going to be a major concern with this as this gets towards Raleigh and Durham over the next little bit. So we'll want to keep an eye on this very closely for the Raleigh metro area, as severe storms are knocking on the door as we speak, and we should see severe thunderstorm warnings continue to be issued to the north and east. Behind that, ahead of it, it's 79 here at Smithfield, Johnson County, 75, 80 at Morehead City. Behind it, we're in the 70s, we're in the 60s, and that gets a little bit better as far as that goes. So again, let's do let's reset this real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the watches. I'm going to take off some of this data here, and I want to show you where the current weather watches are. And we'll get back to the tornado warning here in a second. But again, I want to show you our weather watches. And we still have a tornado watch out for Greensboro, Raleigh, Greenville, North Carolina. Down severe thunderstorm watch just inland of Wilmington for Whiteville, Lumberton, Dillon, Marion, and Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, and Kingstree, Florence, and Hartsville. Again, we should start to see some of that begin to erode again. We should see more cancellations of this. Columbia, Charlotte, Charleston, Augusta, Greenville, Asheville, Hickory, foothills, mountains. Your severe weather threat has ended for the night. But again, the main concern area is in this tornado watch right now, where there is a significant risk for tornadoes to continue. And again, we'll go back to the storm of the hour, a storm of the last 2 hours. It feels like north of Yanceyville, approaching Providence right now. So here's the circulation. Again, we get a lot of this is noise. We have a lot of noise happening because of the hail, very large hail falling within this storm. No sign of any debris on the ground. And in fact, this tornado vortex signature actually probably should be closer to here. There's actually false data causing some false echoes here. So again, this is where radar interpretation becomes very important with some very high reflectivity moving over Providence right now. Reflectivity approaching 69, 70 dBz. That is significant. That is big, dense hail. And we may be getting quite a few cars having issues there. Looking around for storm reports. And we're getting a couple in Bethel. We had a hail to nickel size there again, submitted by Dan Whitaker, who chases for us the Carolina weather from time to time, and he is out after these storms right now. Tight rotation near Providence, and again, this is noise. All this right now southeast of Providence, that's noise. We're focused right here on this circulation. That also could, the hail could be contaminating this view as well. Let me see if I can't get, and again, getting to a point where it's hard to get a couple perspectives, but we can get a different perspective on this storm a little bit higher up, at 6,000 feet. We can get a good look at the mesocyclone using the Raleigh radar. So we're going to switch to that real quick, and I can show you the rotation without that hail contamination getting in the way. And again, storm relative velocity here, that rotation is very near Providence. And again, this is looking a little higher in the storm. So this is the parent mesocyclone. That tornado is going to be a much smaller point here and is not necessarily going to line up 100% with what we're seeing on the map. So, there's some stretching and twisting and things that happen there that we want folks to be aware of there. This is not exact by any stretch. But anyway, Providence right now is you can see that big hail core. Again, this is another look at that big hail core. We're using a different color scheme. And on this particular radar view, and see we get those blacks, and even it's starting to turn white a little bit. That is big hail, folks. That is huge. And again, our hail algorithms using the GR Analyst software, and I have accidentally turned everything off. How did I do that? What did I just do? That was interesting. Okay, all right. Okay, that was fun. Try that again. You can see that the hail size, the hail algorithms are closing in on 3 inches. I mean, it's 2.85 inches estimated by the radar. It's not falling at 2.85 inches, I'll assure you of that, but there's going to be some melting happening as we go down. But again, if we look at the ZDR, you can see another all right, so we just had 1.5 inch size hail in Caswell County by Dan Whitaker reporting 1.5 inch hail from this storm that we're looking at right now on radar. And so again, this is producing big hail, and this may still have the ability to produce a tornado We still have a decent rotational couplet right around Providence. I will say that the hook echo that this has had is not as pronounced. This could be becoming more rain and even hail wrapped at this point. So that certainly is a consideration. This is going to start spreading hail across the North Carolina line into Virginia. This is getting very near Danville, Virginia. It's going to be just southeast of Danville. Milton on the line here, really in North Carolina. You're going to be right there. Certainly something that we're going to want to watch for you as well. You have some big hail headed your way. Ruffin, you're in the clear. Pelham, you're in the clear. Yanceyville, you're in the clear at this point. Really, Providence is the main area of concern at the moment for rotation. And really, the story on this storm is becoming hail. It did produce a tornado earlier. We have not heard any damage reports from that yet, but I suspect that we will at some point in the near future. All right, so let's do... let's see. And there's... yeah, and again, this is the only tornado warning that's on the board right now. For the Carolinas, and in fact, really the severe weather threat has moved primarily into North Carolina, east of 77. So I'm getting a I'm just going to go look at the Storm Prediction Center. Just issued an updated discussion, and yeah, so again, basically outlining that we still expect that these storms will continue for the next couple hours, but as daytime heating leaves, again, we are at 8:30 now, sun's headed down, and we're going to lose that heating of the day. That will help begin to take some of the edge off of these storms. Go to the wide view here. Let's go to the regional view real quick, and I'll get back to our Providence storm in a minute, but here's a regional view. I'll zoom out a little bit and put it pan it so you don't get caught with my head in the way. Take the meso overlay off, clean that up a little bit. We still have a large severe thunderstorm warning in Fayetteville to Clinton, just south of Dunn. This cluster of thunderstorms is moving north into Raleigh. It looks like there's been a little bit of weakening. We've not seen as many severe reports in this neck of the woods, so it could be weakening a little bit as it gets into Raleigh. But I also want to note that as we look at the thunderstorm fuel here, let me get the mixed layer cape. We still have quite a bit of fuel to work with here. We still have, in the yellows, it's generally over 1,000 joules a cape. If we look at the most unstable, starting to become a little less surface based, which is good news. But all in all, we still have a good bit of fuel to work with. But this is, again, forecast to dwindle over time. So dwindle faster, I think that's what we want to be saying to this right now. So again, let's go back to our tornado warned storm. We've got a lot to bounce through here. And again, this is down towards Providence. We're going to be through with this guy pretty soon. And for what it's worth, Blacksburg, when they extended the warning into Milton, a very tiny sliver of the northern part of Caswell County into Virginia, across the Virginia border, they have now called this a severe thunderstorm warning. So that does suggest to me that maybe the tornado threat is indeed beginning to wane a little bit with this storm near Providence. We still have some rotation showing up, and that's certainly going to be an issue, but it looks co-located with what should be a pretty decent hail signature at this point. So again, I think the tornado threat there for the next it remains for Providence for the next few minutes. And really the issue now as the storm gets closer to Milton and eventually gets into Virginia, we don't have to talk about it anymore. That is going to become more of a hail risk and a damaging straight line wind risk. Zooming out a little bit more, we have clusters of showers and thunderstorms continuing to move there. We'll go back to the regional to do that. Go back to the regional here. We still have some showers and thunderstorms moving eastward, approaching Greensboro. Again, these are subsevere, and we have the other area of showers and thunderstorms moving northeastward towards Raleigh and Greenville, North Carolina. Tornado watch continues here until 10. We have some scattered showers showing up generally in the northern part of the Tri-County area south of Charleston, South Carolina. But again, as I put this into motion, not a lot of rain on the radar, and unfortunately for our drought situation that we find ourselves in, that's no good. There's been a couple additional storms firing off in Georgia, and I suspect that we're going to see some off and on activity in the Carolinas as the front and some upper support continues to move in. But the severe weather threat is now basically confined to North Carolina. For all intents and purposes, I would say that North Carolina is eastern North Carolina, east of 77 is where the severe weather threat is going to exist. Charlotte, Greenville, Columbia, Charleston, you are done with severe weather for the night, and thank goodness for that. So unfortunately, you're also done with the rain. And if you're counting on the rain, I am sorry. I wish I had better news for you on that front. So again, let's go back to the Blacksburg radar here. We're about to say au revoir and farewell to this storm, but we still have some rotation over Blanche right now, according to the Weather Service. They just updated the warning near Providence at Blanche, moving east at 30 miles an hour. And so again, this rotational signature right here, there is still the potential that it could produce something. We're getting some down radial effects from the hail here, and I wouldn't, and if this does tighten back up again, it's possible we could see the tornado warning extended into Virginia. But once this gets across the line here in the next few minutes, I think we're going to let this storm go, and we will return to the Carolina Weather Net, which is running nonstop in the background. We're showing radar watches, warnings, severe weather alerts on your screen on the Carolina Weather Net. So Boronek So we have a new tornado warning now on the same cell, waiting for it to populate in the various system. Who gets it first? The Raleigh view gets it first. So we will go to that real quick, looking at it from Raleigh, and indeed the tornado warning has now been extended into Milton. So again, this extends into Caswell County, really to the Caswell person line. Milton kind of in the line of fire here now for the potential for a tornado. This is now radar indicated. We have not had an indication in some time of a tornado on the ground. That is good news. But again, this storm has been rotating on and off, could cycle back up and produce a tornado at any time. So if you're in the town of Milton right now, what I need you to do is get into that safe place. Interior room on the lowest floor of a site-built structure. Basement, storm cellar. I don't know how many storm cellars there are in this part of the world, but I'm sure that there's some basements. Interior room, bathroom, closet, hall closet. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Lowest floor. If you're in a mobile home, abandon that mobile home. Find some sturdy site-built structure. You have a few minutes to do so. As a severe thunderstorm that continues to move northeastward with the potential to produce large hail and damaging straight line winds as well, is approaching now the town of Milton, right here at the Virginia and North Carolina border. So we're going to be dealing with this guy for a few more minutes. Providence, the threat for severe weather is going to be over for you shortly. So again, give it about 5 minutes. And you should be okay. Let's go back down to, I had a question about Wake County here. Maybe a little downburst action, maybe a little slight rotation here, showing up very near the radar site. It could be a little bit of a hook echo right near the radar site, actually, north of Clayton here. So this is east of Raleigh. This is approaching Wendell and Zebulon. So certainly, that's as a little bit of there's no formal warning on it right now, and in fact the only warning that's in effect on this line is still for Fayetteville and Clinton at this point, but there certainly seems to be maybe a little bit of a low-level hook trying to get going here. We'll tilt up a little bit and we can get a little better idea of the storm structure, and there may be a little bit of broad rotation, certainly some strong winds if nothing else, so we want folks to be careful. If they're driving along Highway 64, 264, Knightdale, Wendell, Zebulon, keep an eye on this. And if this continues, there is some high reflectivity here as well. Could see some hail out of this. So if this continues, we may see a warning issued, probably severe thunderstorm warning to start. But again, we have heavy rain right over the radar site, and that's also going to help to attenuate the signal a little bit too. So these storms are probably a little bit stronger than they might look at first glance. So we'll need to keep a close eye on that as well. And here's your rotation getting very near Milton now. And again, Mark Rogers is telling us that it's getting bad here in Wake County. Mark Rogers on Facebook. And so again, yes, over the next 30, 60 minutes in Wake County, you're going to have that complex of thunderstorms lift north across your area. And it's going to be, heavy rain, lightning, strong winds, and maybe some hail mixing in as well. Severe weather not out of the realm of possibility. A tornado watch continues, and you could be put under a warning at any time. So again, weather awareness, situational awareness is the key for the next little while here. So again, rotation approaching Milton here. Let's go back to the regional view. And again, that tornado warning, this tornado warned cell in northern North Carolina is about to shove off. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for the Raleigh metro area. So this includes Wake County. This includes Smithfield. This includes Durham, Raleigh-Durham area. So a new severe thunderstorm warning here. Let's get a read on it from the Weather Service. Severe thunderstorm near Raleigh, moving northeast at 65 miles an hour, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Indicated hail size generally below penny size in this area. But again, the risk for strong damaging winds is the main concern from this line of thunderstorms that is moving into the Raleigh metro area now. So again, a large severe thunderstorm warning in effect here. We'll go take us back to the local radar, which will give us a little bit better view of exact details of these cells here. And you can see there's some pretty high reflectivity here. Certainly some strong winds. You can see that enhanced wind signature here moving away from the radar site. And I can kind of put this in motion a little bit. You can see the strong greens, and then they turn into strong reds as the wind moves away. So there may be, we could be dealing with maybe a swath of wind damage even in some spots. We'll see what happens here, what they decide to do as well. We could see additional severe thunderstorm warnings issued towards Wilson, Rocky Mount, Lewisburg, Wake Forest. You're right in the middle of this, Creedmoor, Cottrell, as this line of storms continues to lift north. So again, Raleigh, Durham metro area, severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And this warning will go until 9:30. So again, we'll see it trimmed from southwest to northeast as the line moves northward. And we still have plenty of showers and thunderstorms to go, but the severe weather is fortunately looking a little more few and far between. Let's hope we can keep it that way for the next little bit. Go back to Blacksburg here. And again, we're going to be done with this storm here in a minute. Evidence of rotation right over Milton right now. Some weak evidence of rotation. Go to the NROT tool, and this is as weak as we have seen this. This is as weak as we have seen this. And right over Milton right now. So that's some good news, but we still could have some hail, some heavy high winds. And again, this could cycle back up and produce a tornado at any time. If you are in Milton, stay in your safe place. Providence, you are all clear. We still have a polygon here, but I suspect that they're going to just let this go. The severe weather, the tornado threat in Providence has ended. Right now, any tornado threat is around Milton. And this is, so this is moving eastward there. You can see the still a few reds next to the greens there, but certainly, again, looking at that normalized rotation product, this is a far cry from what it was, just 30 minutes ago, moving out of Ruffin through Providence and then into Milton. So good to see that. Good to see that rotation is weakening there. Let's see. There's a tornado warned circulation crossing Virginia Beach right now. Oh boy, yeah, it's a busy night. It's a very busy night with this storm system coming through. But again, Milton right now is the main concern. So let's go regional again. We'll be able to. We'll be able to call clear, at least for the moment, on tornado warnings here in the Carolinas fairly soon. Fingers very crossed for that one. We do have this band of thunderstorms lifting north that's stretching outside of Fayetteville up into the Raleigh metro area, generally along I-70. Is that the famed? That's 40. Yeah, that's I-40. That's not the one. Yeah, it's like see the future I-73 everywhere, and it's like it's perpetual. Our Lady of Perpetual Future I-73. But yeah, so this is lifting north of 40 right now, getting into Raleigh and Durham. This will eventually head into Wilson and Rocky Mountain. Again, looking at the velocities, just the straight up velocities out of the radar here. Some pretty strong winds at the leading edge of this too. So you're going to definitely see some gusts. You can see some trees and power lines down from this. All straight line winds. There's no sign, not really seeing any signs of any too much in the way of transient rotation. There's a little broad rotation just northeast of Clinton here. But I don't see right now, it's not very tight and it's not very organized. So we'll keep an eye on this, obviously. And so we'll definitely want to keep an eye on that. 53 knot gust. Okay. 53 knot gust from the RDU weather station. That's pretty good. That's, yeah, that's, so there you go. So there's your gusts. There's your winds right there, folks. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, there's your winds, friends. I mean, that's it. So that's a 60 mile an hour wind gust, friends. That's it. So there you go. Yeah, so getting breezy, getting very breezy in that part of the world in Wake County. So again, I'm just looking at a bunch of different sources of information. We still have good instability in the area, and relatively uncapped instability too. So it'll be interesting to see if storms try to get going again along the front. But we'll keep an eye on that as we go. Let me. I'm just taking a quick peek into the future here. And again, the models indicate that there could be another line of storms to come through with cold front later tonight. But again, the overall trend is towards weakening over the next few hours, which is really good news. So, again, here's the regional view. Here's kind of what we're looking at. We still have this last tornado warning up in Milton, North Carolina. We'll go to the analyst here, and you can see that is pretty disorganized. It just does not look very good. The rotation is moving. Whatever rotation is left is moving out of Milton. The threat for severe weather there is ending. Once this tornado warning comes off the board, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Carolina Weather Net, unless there's another tornado warning, and then I'll be right back here. But we're going to go back to the Carolina Weather Net, which will stream NOAA Weather Radio and show the watches and warnings on the screen. So again, we have so there it is. Yeah, 61 mile an hour wind gust at the Raleigh Airport. So Raleigh Durham Airport. So there you go. And that's the word from the National Weather Service. It is to say it's impressive is putting it mildly. It's been a pretty good set of storms today. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning out. New severe thunderstorm warning for Goldsboro up towards Wilson. Again, this cluster of thunderstorms that's moving northeast has prompted the severe thunderstorm warning until, let's see, let's get a time for you here, until 9:30. So places like Goldsboro, Wilson, Mount Olive, Elm City, Fremont, Walnut Creek, Sharpsburg, Lucama, Stantonsburg, and Black Creek. 60 mile an hour wind gusts are the primary concern from this cluster of thunderstorms that is moving northeast very quickly at 60 to 65 miles per hour. So good news is it's over fast. If there's any good news in this, it's over fast. So let me turn that one off. Let me turn this one on. And just looking at some places I could still see severe winds here. Whew. Long day, friends. Long day. All right. So right now in Wendell, We have Jane on YouTube asking us, she's in Wendell. What do you think? I'm looking at some radar data out of Wendell right now, and you have some pretty strong winds moving through there. Some strong winds, some heavy rain. You could see some additional thunderstorms behind it, but once that's through, you should be in pretty good shape. May have some additional showers and thunderstorms develop there, but the risk for severe weather will diminish as that time goes on. So again, keeping an eye on the tornado warning, really for the circulation that's now leaving Milton. If you were in Milton on the border here, I think probably okay to come out of your safe place. Waiting on the Weather Service to make a call. It looks like we may see that go away here soon. So fingers crossed that we can get rid of that. And yeah, and again, it's been, we're going to see things, be pretty rough for a little bit. It's just going to be, straight line winds. You're going to see some trees down, probably, maybe some power outages. So again, if you got, make sure you got a flashlight with batteries nearby. Weather radio is always a good thing to have. And just this really kind of disorganized cluster of thunderstorms. We have a little bit of broad rotation still kind of showing up near Faison here in Calypso, but again, it doesn't seem to be much to worry about right now. Heading up 117 towards Mount Olive, but there's no warning on this at the moment. So again, and I don't anticipate that there will be one. It's pretty rain wrapped. Certainly not seeing any signs of any debris or anything too heinous there. So we'll keep an eye on that. And yeah, so we'll zoom back out here, and the tornado warning has been canceled. So no more tornado warnings on the board in the Carolinas. That is good news. And again, we have, the main issue right now is straight line winds moving through Durham and Raleigh up towards Wilson, Goldsboro. This is going to approach Rocky Mount at some point. We should see severe thunderstorm warnings extend a little bit further northeast as this cluster of thunderstorms continues to move up through eastern North Carolina. But right now, the good news is that as we look at as we zoom out and we take a look at the big picture here, there are no severe weather warnings. There are no tornado warnings in effect anywhere in the Carolinas. And in fact, there's only 3 severe thunderstorm warnings now in the Carolinas, which is great. If you're in South Carolina, all of South Carolina, you are cleared from all of your watches. All of your severe weather watches have been allowed to expire or have been canceled early. So the threat for severe weather in South Carolina has ended. The tornado watch continues in eastern North Carolina, in the eastern half of North Carolina until 10 o'clock. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on this for the next couple hours. And we're going to be keeping an eye on this for the next couple hours. Just watching this to just make sure that it doesn't misbehave. But for right now, what we're going to do, again, all severe thunderstorm watches are the severe thunderstorm watches off the board. So Myrtle Beach, Florence, near the Wilmington area, all good, all good. We're getting some questions about Pilot Mountain, and I want to take a look at that real quick before we sign off here, because we are going to go ahead and get us back to the Carolina Weather Net in a minute here. But yeah, I'm going to go find Pilot Mountain here, and I'm going to do a little radar analysis. And we look at Pilot Mountain. We had some heavy rain. We've had some heavy rain moving through. All warnings here have been allowed to expire at this point. Tilting up in this storm, we do still see some fairly decent, rain cores. But again, looking at correlation coefficient, it's pretty uniformly rain. When we look at the max hail size product, it is very unlikely that there is any hail going on at this point. This storm is moving out. This is approaching Danbury and Sandy Ridge. And again, this is just a good old general thunderstorm at this point. We've had some comments about some hail in Pilot Mountain. There's no radar data or any other spotter reports to validate that at this point. We'll keep an eye on that. But again, looking at the velocities and everything here, the velocities are pretty well in check at this point. Certainly, the weakening trend is on. which is good news. And we should see, gradually improving weather conditions here. And again, there is no more, I'll verify that for you real quick. But yeah, you are out of the tornado watch in Pilot Mountain, Mount Airy. That tornado watch is continuing just to your east now, but Surrey County is no longer in a tornado watch. So, so some good news there. But again, we're going to keep an eye on the, we're gonna just keep an eye on the big picture here for the next couple hours. The tornado watch is going to continue until 10 o'clock. The expectation is that we will see a downtrend. Things will trend downward, and we lose the heating of the day, and that will be good. So so we'll continue to watch this. Let me see here. Just looking at some messaging. As one last pass at the weather service here, and sounds like we may be seeing some additional, areas that are going to be out of the tornado watch here in a few minutes. So we'll update that on the Carolina Weather Group Twitter. You'll see that there. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Carolina Weather Net. And continue our programming there. That'll have updates on your weather watches, your weather warnings, and show current loop of radar. The new tornado warning is issued. We're going to come right back here. So again, for all of us at the Carolina Weather Group, I'm Jared Smith. Thank you for watching our long-form severe weather coverage and for your participation in chat. And go ahead and sign off for the human portion of this. We're going to go back to the radar for you and keep an eye on things. So again, thank you all very much for watching, and we will get you back to the Carolina weather forecast starting right now for you.
Here are today's forecast high temperatures for North Carolina. Here are the forecast lows for tonight for North Carolina.